anymore because we'll kick off with a real quick announcement on that, which is that we're switching to Wednesday next week. Is that on the itinerary?
It is. It's a little out of order, but that's okay.
All right, so we're starting. We'll be on Wednesday. Here's the long and short of it. First of all,
tell me more.
Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Glad to be back.
Hey, this monitor looks good.
Great.
Did you change anything?
I mean,
or am I just not used to seeing myself?
I constantly made it better while you were gone.
Great.
I think.
Yeah, that's a way to claim
I think it's
that
probably
promotion.
it's more the talent that's being featured in the video than the video quality.
These guys look like they've been through something important.
Chad is
look at them; they're glowing.
It's that new father glow.
That's it. We're glowing.
age old concept.
I feel like I'm doing the opposite.
Yeah, I feel exhausted. I actually think that we at least have it, good.
We do.
Like,
I got a lucky baby.
Baby's good, healthy. Mom's healthy. Sleep is. I mean, it's not as good as it once was, but it's not as bad as I've heard it be at this point. You know what I mean? Like if there was a bell curve of how good it could be going right now, I feel like I'm leaning towards the positive side, which is amazing.
Yeah, me too. More on that later. Yeah. Wednesday is the new stream day, so mark your calendars. We figure if you can watch on a Monday at 1, you probably can watch on a Wednesday as well. Let me know if that's not true.
We're pivoting to noon, right?
Yeah. Are we doing noon, John?
I think we landed on noon because you have a cutoff.
Yeah.
Wednesday at noon.
Wednesday at
You're
noon.
not saying it with much confidence.
Yeah. Wednesday at noon.
All right, so join us moving forward, starting next week.
Not this Wednesday.
Wednesday at noon.
Yeah.
So that's going to give us more time to actually prepare, because what we have found doing this on Mondays is that Monday is a very important day for Covenant the business, and it was also an important day for Covenant the stream/content engine.
I like that.
Those two things. Don't
there's
need
a
to be on the same
hypothetical
day.
separation between the two.
Yeah. There's not really. This is business related, or so we keep telling ourselves, but. It's hard to come in on a Monday and try to get your bearings and figure out what's gone wrong over the weekend, and then also get on stream and do this Dog and Pony show. So Wednesday at noon, we will have sorted through all of the weekly things already, and so we can come in here a lot fresher and with a lot more preparation, so we can have things ready to give you a better experience with us, which is the goal.
And the exact shape and form of the stream is evolving.
Absolutely.
As with our content. So right before we left for having children separately, it's always like a tough thing to verbalize. It's like we both had children, but brought on a new video editor for some reason, also named John. And we're going to do a lot more produced video, which I'm excited about. But those concepts about exactly what that's going to look like are evolving. And it's going to have an impact on the stream. And there's things like we'll do it today for the sake of doing it. But we have a topic, which is you still don't understand sorcery. Is that the title?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, is that tantalizingly weird enough?
To be hooked? So we'll be doing that. Then we'll be covering
somewhere.
News for all our supported games, and we'll be diving into gameplay. But the plan right now is for next Wednesday at noon to dive effectively right into gameplay.
Yeah.
We'll have conversations as that's going on, but less segmented, probably a little condensed on the stream time, and then an uptick in the other content we're posting.
Yeah. Produced content can do more on some other formats. I think the stream is we just want to get together and play stuff. And it's not going to be that cool, that popular.
Sometimes they're also really good conversations to have
it
live, and particularly being capable of interacting with other perspectives. Mm-hmm. But then there's a lot of conversations that aren't suited for that. And so kind of define those lines. So anyways, stay tuned. Things will be changing around here.
Jonathan thinks he can make popular content in a produced way. And that means the stream can be deep content. It can be for
unpopular
Frank.
Content.
Stream is like a one-on-one conversation you have with someone.
Yeah. Or 1 to 50 or 1 to 100.
Or a couple, whatever it ends up being.
Rather than 1 to trying to be 1 to 1,000.
The stream crew is like the skeleton crew. It's the inside the house crew.
Y'all get the inside scoop.
Yeah, I mean, anyone willing to sit here and listen to us hang out for 2 hours, 3 hours.
They're not listening to us hang out. They're hanging out with us.
That's right.
It's a collaborative experience.
See, we can put them on the screen.
Can we? Oh, right. All right. They're there. What's up, Cardboard Guide?
Yo.
Yeah, man. We're going to
Spiel.
Going to Germany. Spiel Essen.
Yeah, they changed the name.
Well, no, they didn't. I don't think they did. I think we were always doing it wrong.
So Essen is a place, like it's a city.
Essen's a state of mind.
And Spiel happens at Essen. But common industry vernacular is just to call it Essen. But if you're in Germany, it's like, hey, I'm going to Essen. They'd be like, what are you doing there? Yeah. And it's like, no, I'm going to the tabletop event. Oh, you're going in October.
But is it not a feature of like the German language or something? I thought that it was, you know how certain languages operate differently. Like I might say Tulsa State Fair, and in German that would be State Fair Tulsa.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You're asking the
I figured you
wrong
would.
guy on that. However, I do know that if you said I'm going to Tulsa and what you meant was I'm going to the Tulsa State Fair, I'd be very confused.
Right.
Yeah, it's almost if you were like saying SeaWorld.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to SeaWorld or are you going to see the world? You know, it's different. It's a very different thing.
Double
just
Dragon
like
Games
that.
saying exactly what we were talking about in our meeting last week.
I prefer live. You don't get a lot of opportunities with other companies to hang out like this and have this level of interaction. Yeah, that's really it.
It's right there.
That's the
It's right
goal.
there.
That's the goal. We just want to be available.
Hang out, sip some LaCroix.
Dad mode, man.
Man,
Man, beer, no thanks. I'll take a LaCroix. I need some
well, you know,
hydration.
it's only 1:00.
What are we doing today? Can you run down the schedule for me?
Yes, first thing, new parent update. How's that going?
I got a lot to say about that.
Yeah, wait, can you pull John's face up? Just
hold on.
Jonathan, you gotta be
This
careful.
one, me.
Had the joy of becoming a dad back, 2019?
Yep.
Right before the
2019.
pandemic?
November 2019.
Perfect timing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of been he's literally your older brother having kids, but I have a couple of older brothers with kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I've felt my whole life that being the third born was a weird advantage because I got to see a lot of mistakes that I didn't have to make firsthand. And that's all sorts of areas, you know, buying houses, buying cars, student loans, getting married. I didn't learn that one very well, apparently. But
Dude, I was about to roast you. You roasted yourself. You self-roasted.
side note, I'm very, very extremely happily married now with the mother of my child, which is I learned personally firsthand from a first rotation how to do that better. But anyways, Jonathan has been kind of once he found out we were pregnant, at least, it's just kind of this constant like, oh, I can't wait to just like
just see what your
vicariously
experience is.
experience, and now you'll understand on a deeper level. So
And he's only had one, so like that's
yeah,
you may as well. I mean, they're all so different from what we've learned.
yeah. None of us have more than one, so I wouldn't know.
But I did want to tell you this, Jonathan, while we're on stream. I just want to see what your reaction. And it's not a big deal. I just think so. Last night we
And your daughter is 5
weeks.
weeks.
Yeah, we put Piper to bed. Right, standard issue. It took her a while. We went to a baby shower, and then we actually went to
bold.
dinner at Bohemian.
Wow.
Beautiful.
You guys being
Hey man,
Did she sleep the whole time?
we're just
You got one of those sleeping babies.
We're hip parents, yo. No, she didn't sleep the whole time. I changed her in the tailgate of my truck.
Beautiful.
I had her in the stroller, and then sometimes she'd cry, and we'd pick her up and eat pizza and hold her and all that. But so then we got home at like 10, and then I was in the process of all the rotation of like how long is it gonna? You get the 5 minutes here, and then that's not working, and then you do the over the shoulder, and then you do the down here, and then sometimes now we're doing the rotation, and then we're doing the bounce thing, and then we're sitting on the ball, and then, so we got the whole rotation going on. Anyway, takes her a long time, but then I get her to sleep in the weird like crook arm position, head like laying over here. Yeah. I was like, okay, sweet.
Completely
So
unfamiliar.
you give her a good 5 minute, like sink in before you want to upset it and go.
Like really be asleep here
Yeah.
before we
One
go.
question: how are you counting the 5 minutes? Are you watching it like on a clock? Are you counting in your head?
Honestly, it's just I feel like it's just kind of you wait until her face changes
Okay.
to like less happy.
I always feel like too. There's a weight. Like there's a.
You feel it, yeah.
It's just a felt like heavier. And I don't know.
And there's that, and like I'm like doing the thing, and like a lot of times this is bulletproof, right, foolproof. And then I'm like, all right, yeah, this is. I haven't looked for a while, so this is definitely because if you don't look for a while, then it's like Christmas morning. It's like if you go to sleep, you wake up and your presents.
Just
are
don't
there.
look at it and think about
So
it.
just
yeah.
don't engage with it. You're just staring at a Western or whatever on the TV
Right,
to do
right.
anything.
Yeah, and you actually engage, like looking direct that when they can engage with you, it can stimulate them, keep them awake.
Yeah.
So.
Very good.
So
You guys
then
did research.
it was a lot of moments of that, and then I'm like, all right, sweet, let's go to the bathroom. And I look down, and she's just like staring, like not even asleep at all. So I got all that done, got her to sleep. Shannon comes in and is like, oh, you did it, yay. And we're like, yay. And she takes her, puts her in the bassinet, all good. So fall asleep at like 10:45. Wake up this morning, Jonathan, at 7 a.m. And she has slept the entire time.
9 hours, Jonathan.
SOB.
9 hours, Jonathan.
No.
Didn't even have to try.
5 weeks. 5 weeks old.
Didn't even
What is
think about
this?
it.
Oh.
Dude, she's sleeping better than I am. So I was just like, oh, a fresh, tasty, well-slept night.
I'm so glad we had the John.
Actually, my first thing was, oh no, is this baby dead?
Yeah.
Right.
And so, you go through that, and then you're like, oh, she's breathing.
I just feel good.
So I went ahead.
Thank you.
I picked her up, and just like, oh, this baby's alive for sure. And then I held her, and she slept for like 30 more minutes, just as I was like waking up casually because I was so well rested. And so we thought that was very fortunate for us. And then we looked up, is this a problem? And it's like, I don't know, you're just really lucky. That's kind of weird. As long as they're normal and they're not
my experience.
They're gaining weight.
As long as you're gaining weight, you're fine.
Yeah, just gaining tons of weight.
Did she eat a lot more yesterday during the day?
I couldn't tell you. I'd have to consult the chef on that one.
Ours is a little easier to measure because there's no chef per se, as it were. Anyways, I mean, we're technically, it's a weird thing. So our daughter was born a couple weeks before yours, but technically, like
we were 2 weeks late.
Our daughter was born at 39 weeks and yours was born at 41 weeks. So our daughter was born earlier, but it's a weird, technically she's older, but developmentally, I don't know how much that actually impacts it. But all that to say, everything I've seen, it's like the goal is whatever week they're at, if they can sleep that many hours in a row at night, you're doing good.
That's
so it's
cool.
like 5 weeks, 5 hours, all the way up to like 10 or 11 weeks.
That's a good heuristic.
Once you hit 4 weeks, it's like 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. That's the goal. That's what you're pushing for. So I've felt very fortunate that like this past week, probably 4 nights of the week, it was a solid 6 hours.
Dang.
6.5 hours.
Also good. That's consistent. See, this could have been a one-off.
Yeah. And so that feels nice. And there's always things that interrupt that.
Mm-hmm.
But also there are times when it'll be like 5 hours. She'll be making some noise and I'll take her out of the room so my wife can sleep. She'll just sleep for a while.
After that.
So it gets cozy and it's
Jonathan, what was your experience?
miserable.
Not that.
It was some babies don't sleep. I have a couple nephews like that.
I didn't get one of. So my wife has put this in the best way possible, which is not our child doesn't hate sleep. He just loves being awake. And that's been true since the minute he came on this earth.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was watching some Netflix show where someone was like cooking and the baby was like asleep on them. It's like that can happen. That's a possible thing.
This is a reality.
There was only 2 ways I could get him to sleep. One, I'd strap him to my chest. I'd go walk like 2.5 miles. But the minute I stopped moving, he was awake.
Mm-hmm.
Or I had a complicated series of noises and motions and no light whatsoever. We even taped over the LEDs on like the camera so you could see if it was on or not. No light whatsoever. A series of bouncing and this and then 5 minutes here and then 5 minutes here and 5 minutes in the chair and then 5 minutes in the bassinet with my hand on him, then 5 minutes off. Counting every time with the pulses of the noisemaker, and sometimes it worked.
I feel like he probably would have been awesome in the snoo.
I hope so. Yeah, I would imagine so.
Just the movement and the noise
tell myself.
and because it's if you're talking about you stop moving and he does a thing.
I'm like watching TV and cooking and stuff. She's just snoozing for hours.
Tell me more about that.
I think Shannon. Well, we've suspected for a long time that something was wrong with Shannon because she's so sleepy, and so I think what we found out. I think she may be overproducing melatonin.
Oh,
I think that's the thing. Because we found out that
there are worse problems.
That nighttime breast milk has more melatonin than daytime breast milk. Fascinating, right? Human beings.
So she might just be supercharging.
She might just
your daughter with
lacing
melatonin.
her with melatonin every day because her body just produces a lot of it. There's a lot we don't understand.
I will tell you one time, my wife went to a conference a couple of weeks or months after John was born, but she was still pumping, and I know the exact hour that I gave him that milk from that conference. She was just like chugging that raw gut coffee all day, and then she pumped. And dude, he couldn't walk, but he was still bouncing off the walls. There was just like, what has happened to this child? And I talked to Leva. She's like, oh yeah, I guess that was the one from the conference.
That's so good.
Crazy.
I love seeing all the advice / experience from people coming
Larry.
in the chat.
I'm glad someone's out there with me.
So the fundamental question, we're back for the first time since going off on a very profound break in all of this. What is your primary kind of base level summary for anybody who has kids, doesn't have kids? Just what would you say is your Cliff's Notes of the experience?
The 2 ways I've summarized this the best so far in my humble opinion. It's the best ways I can find it.
Is one of them a Star Wars quote?
Mm-mm.
I was gonna say it feels like that's about to happen.
Just go into us. Yeah. It's been the absolute most profound and challenging experience I've had.
Yeah. Which,
Profoundly good and also just challenging, but that's part of what makes it good.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is coming back to work a couple weeks ago for the first time. And it was very clear things had changed. And the way I describe it is it's almost like finding out that the Earth is not at the center of the universe, but rather the sun is.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a pivot, and I don't even fully think I understand it inside. And I get it. It's like the priority is your kid, and you have this immediate person that you have to take care of with all these needs. And it's, you just go into it born, and you take a new baby to home for the first time, and it's suddenly you can't think about tomorrow. You can't think about an hour from now. Mm-hmm. You're literally just, how do I get this baby to eat and go to sleep? Or what's wrong with this situation? Or how do I fix this? Or how do I do this? Over and over. And you live in these kind of 2 to 4 hour cycles.
Yeah, totally.
It's constant, just cycle. And so it's not days anymore, or weeks or months or any of those patterns. So it disrupts all of that. But in like a really, I know it's true. You have a kid and your world changes, and everyone says it's like a different thing. But probably underestimated how true that is, or the depth at which that's true for me, at least. And I found the time I have and the energy I have for, and the importance I place on other things, is just totally, it's a whole new paradigm. Even like today, right? If we're playing and getting to, as part of work, to be able to do this is really an incredible privilege that's happening. So that's great. However,
this would be so easy to let go of.
Yeah.
If you're looking at things that you can't spend time on anymore, getting together once a week and playing Sorcery with a friend is on that list of things that probably has to get cut.
This would not exist in
unless
my
you
current
just
world.
Really, really squeeze and hold on to it.
Yeah, I mean, but it would be the kind of thing where a year ago, if you texted me and said, "Hey, you want to play Sorcery on Saturday?" Okay, let's do it. Now it's like, I do want to play, but I'm going to get 1 or 2 of those things this week. And that's it. So it has to really be, even unfortunately, right, the prioritization of, if someone that I really like that's a friend of mine reached out and said, "Hey, do you want to grab dinner this week?" You have to rank a certain level before I'm going to say yes at this point. So noise has to go away, I guess, is the point.
That's a good way of putting it.
You have bandwidth that you don't have that bandwidth anymore. So you have to prioritize, or you're just going to just get gobbled up in your life. But yeah, I think that is a privilege. However, at the same time, normally if we were hanging out and we were jamming and it was 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, and it's like, you want to play one more? Previously, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm having a good time. This is good. I'm hanging out with everyone here. This is great. Now it's like, I'm not sure. I should probably go home.
I'm actually on the schedule.
Yeah, it's like I need to this needs to end at some point. As much as I'm enjoying it, so I think that's the 2 loose ideas to me abstractly.
I like that
one. To make less sense. How about you?
Yeah, I like that one a lot, actually. It's like that. So my biggest thing was I never intended to be a father. Biologically, we definitely had that intention.
I've been intending to be a father for a long time.
Yeah, you did.
Many year process. So different for sure.
But if there are people, Jonathan's one of these people, I think you're one of these people, that when you look at the future when you're 20, 25, 30, and you're like, what does the future hold for me? You assume children, or you say, I want children, I want a kid, I want a child. This is kind of one of the things I want to do as a human being. I did not have that at all. In fact, it was kind of the opposite. It was like the idea of losing freedom, losing spontaneity, all these kinds of things was like, I don't want to do it. But then I had a partner whose vision was very much that. And, there's not you can't King Solomon in that situation. So she can't have half a baby and me to be free all the time.
So you guys compromised and had a kid.
So we compromised, yeah. And it's like, hey, if this is important for self-realization of your partner, let's go. That's you're important enough to me that I'm willing to take a chance at this thing that I might not enjoy that much, but I'll do my best at it because I try hard to do everything well. I have been really surprised at how naturally it's been fine. I really thought that it would be more of a stark difference between before child and after child. And it does not feel like even a change of phase or era, or suddenly it's a new life that I'm living. It's like it was such a natural flow that it's almost like it's like nothing really changed. It feels just like this is just Piper's here, and that's it. That's what it always was meant to be.
Because you've maintained agency, or because you've just been going along the path of life in the way that you were intended or destined or wanted, and this is very natural and it's in stride, basically.
Yeah, I think there's obviously a biological component, right? There's all sorts of things that fire up, and you hear cries, and
was
know
it like
this is your
moment baby was born?
Yeah, I did have that. Yeah,
that's awesome.
But it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't like an acid trip or anything. Like, it wasn't like, whoa, the world has changed and my life is thrown into this great sense of overwhelming consciousness, elevation, etc. It was just like, oh, this will be fine. That was like the whole experience. It was like, this will be okay.
Yeah.
This is going to be way more okay than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
That was it.
Well, you have a baby sleeping 9 hours at 5 weeks. So
yeah.
no,
it's been easy as I'll get out.
I think it would be easy in not having it. And I didn't get the sense that you guys were particularly around a ton of kids growing up. I mean, besides being kids.
I was around 0.
Yeah. So seeing it over and over again play out in my family, and extended family, and then my in-law family, once that hit, you can get an understanding of the upside or the appeal. And so it happens, and it's like, oh, yeah, this is an obligation, but it's one that I enjoy. Sort of like owning a house or owning land or building something, or whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah.
And so it's awesome that hit for you.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it way, way more than I thought, for sure. Which is cool, just being open. I think this is the problem with trying to crystallize your identity at any point in your life, if I can wax poetically about that. But I have seen it so much and in so many people, and more than ever, because we're constantly being asked to define ourselves into pretty rigid boxes on the internet, where we don't have context or humanity. We just have words on a screen and profile pictures. So I think there's a propensity more and more to over label and over crystallize one's identity, right? So I was thinking, I'm the kind of person that would not enjoy having kids, and I thought that at some point when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, when I was having a great time not having kids, and I was like, oh, well, let's just lock that in. But man, just don't lock it in. Don't lock any of it in, and just be whatever is happening at the time and make the best of it. Like, sometimes it sucks and sometimes it doesn't work out, but having the door open to it being okay for change to exist, I think is great.
Yeah.
So it worked out for me.
Do you feel like is that something that had been building in you, or does this open the door to a reconsideration on a bigger scale for you?
I do think it further challenges pre-held beliefs that I have.
Yeah,
for sure.
Uh-oh, here comes new Steven.
I mean, it has to, but like, it's not even
Start
new.
calling Steve.
It's not even like I'm gonna go do this or be that. It's just like I'm just less scared of any change that's coming.
That's powerful.
I'm less scared of like my parents dying. I'm less scared of like a career change, which I hope doesn't happen.
I hope it doesn't happen either.
I'm just less. Yeah,
there are some changes actually happening, but not like
good ones.
I'm leaving and going to find something else to do, kind of a thing.
Yeah, and maybe being part of the cycle is important too. Like actually seeing the beginning point, which you normally are only seeing the end point, and then the midpoint, which is you. It's like your existence. You start remembering like when it's happening, and then you see people die, and then it's like to see the beginning of the chain as well. I think has been really healthy.
And I feel like we're at that. It's this weird phase of life where both of those things are happening at the same time. Parents are being lost. Like, you haven't lost either your parents, but your spouse has. I lost a parent, but then also now there's a baby, and you're starting. That's triggering a bunch of things in you, and thoughts, and and it's like, and getting to re-experience things for the first time. One of my favorite movies of all time is Toy Story. It's like, I'm very excited to watch that with Lily, but you have that at the same time as you're slowly but surely, even in my family, once my dad passed, it's been this weird phase where suddenly we're kind of the ones in charge.
Yeah.
And we had issues with the way that charge was happening before in the family, but like now there's just not a centralized. Forever it was my grandma, and then it was my dad, kind of as the central point. It's like, wait a second, and now there's like very few people in my family above our generation. Like, it was big.
Yeah.
Like my grandma was one of 6.
We're getting in there.
Yeah. So it's this weird inflection point where you're right there in the middle.
Mm-hmm. And you know what else has happened that I think is positive? I don't know. I've struggled with this my whole life because it's just there's no real answers to it. But it's extremely difficult to judge people. It's become so much harder for me to do that because I see this early childhood experience that this creature has no control over whatsoever. And like every decision I'm making and the way that I'm choosing to do it, whether or not we're drinking or smoking or taking her out or not taking her out, or is she cold all the time? Are we touching her? Are we showing her affection? Are we paying attention to her? Where are we making mistakes? Where are we like absent when we should be present? Those kinds of things. She has no control over that. And like I know that has a tremendous impact on everything that comes after.
Yeah.
And so it's like how it just really challenges your ability to say like, these people who are making the decisions I disagree with, I really don't like them and I wish they'd make different decisions. It's like, man, how much control is there? I don't know. Like but I know there's so much out of people's control that to look at their behavior and say like they should be different and therefore I don't like them or I wish they would change is just not even really that feasible anymore. It's just people are the way that they are.
That's the thing that one of the things that hit me in a very similar way was like how different everybody's home life is. Like it's a miracle we can even come together at all. Like these small but very intense cultures that people are brought up in are so drastically different. Even friends, even the way Zach and you are going to raise your children are going to be different than how I am or how everybody is, and sometimes drastically. And it's like, but we can still be friends at school and we can still come together, and that's pretty cool because those are big differences.
Well, and there's a ton of elements too of just where those people are at, what they're going through, what they're capable of, what their like jobs are like, and their finances and their means and their experience and all this. It hasn't happened a ton yet, but I know it's coming, which is when you start having context. Like I'm older than my parents were when I was born. And then realizing how I viewed them when I was like 6.
Yeah.
And my dad was a very confident person, even when he had no right to be. And so you just start seeing, like you were talking about judging others. I also am curious on the introspective side of judging yourself or understanding yourself, where it's like, well, why do I react in these situations in this way? Why do I think this way? And some of that is just innate, in my opinion, the way people are.
Just soul stuff.
However you want to.
I always tell Piper, I'm like, man, you were pulled out of the soul catalog, and
So the thing is, my first nephew, who is now in his late teens, and like he's awesome. When he was a little rascal, like
just from the start, right? It's like John, little John is just like a bundle of energy straight up from
and
day
he was
one.
That way from the very
moment he was alive.
I know there's things built in. I've just seen it. It's same with my oldest niece, or my second oldest niece actually, from the other brother. From the day she showed up, it's like delicate and sweet and calm, and that is just. I mean, you just see the through line. It's like crazy. Like this is not trained. This is just who and her sibling is not that way.
Yeah.
So you have those, but even just understanding. And you try to come. As I became an adult, I tried to come to grips with the way my parents were / are at the time.
Has a big impact.
But now you're getting to see it and then understand. Hopefully do better in certain ways, and then maybe relate or empathize in other ways. But it says a lot about us, like me seeing it. It's like I know it's going to trigger things. It's like
Well, one of the things I think we did right, or we are doing right in the process of doing right, is that the way that my wife and I approach parenting is that we want to give our son the tools to be able to overcome whatever bad parenting mistakes we make, because that's going to happen. but to be able to give them like, hey, here's how you get out of it.
Yeah.
You know, when they're middle aged, like that's the goal.
Build the system.
It's not to be perfect. It's to give
assets.
them at least the foundation and the tools to be able to overcome that in their teenage years, etc.
I think at least for me, particularly my dad, that false confidence came from a place of not wanting us to realize he didn't fully have it under control.
No, like giving you guys security.
Yeah,
basically.
trying to give us
Dad's
security.
got it. It's cool.
Yeah, because he didn't have that, and that's where it gets real messy. It's like, oh god,
It's like the entire
now I feel bad for
universe
being upset with him because like he was
spiraling out.
Yeah, but that thing you just said triggered in me that desire of mine to very much show the humanness and the lack of. I don't know everything, and I might be wrong, but right now you're 8, and like you're going to deal with it. But over time, just understanding that mistakes happen, and how do you handle mistakes, and how do you learn, and how do you process, and how do you grow from these moments? Because inevitably, we all grow up and have certain disappointments about our parents, and if you aren't disappointed at all by your parents, you're very fortunate.
Yeah, or clueless. One of the two.
Maybe have a little more introspection.
Anyways, out of 5 stars, how's it gone so far?
Oh yeah, 5.
Yeah, I'm also a 5
for
star.
sure.
Yeah,
But I will.
5.
The last thing that I'll say on this too, there was an article that I read, an editorial piece about how it was a woman who was writing about how she was essentially helping raise kids. She just wasn't a parent. So she had a lot of friends who had kids, and she was a part of their lives, and she was helping, to babysit and all of this. And she was talking about the merits of that and like how awesome that has been, and that we too often focus on parenthood instead of child raising.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a really important piece of this too, is like we have a lot of people in our lives that opted not to have kids, but they are also playing an outsized role in helping us in our parenthood journey. And that has been absolutely critical and so helpful to have those people around. So there's roles for everybody in this, if you're interested in that kind of experience, that don't involve the full parenthood thing, whether you want it or don't want it, or whether unfortunately you want it but can't find it or can't find the right partner or whatever. Just being engaged with children at all is a pretty profound experience.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I know for me personally, my grandma, grandpa, and uncle were very critical people in my upbringing. And looking back and even realizing now, not everyone has those other in their system. Some people have really great parents. And, on the grand scale of things, I think I have pretty good parents. But at the same time, like, I also had a really good extended
Support
family,
system.
which is nice.
Yeah, my gosh. And you also realize single parents,
Unbelievable.
don't know how.
Oh my gosh,
And
right?
then lack of
Can you believe that?
if you don't have parental leave, I don't know. I don't know.
If you're working 9 to 5 and you're a single parent, goodness gracious.
It's insane.
Goodness gracious.
Like it is not. We should not. I mean, we should not allow that to happen.
Who was I? There was someone I was talking to that it was like their kid was born. Maybe someone in the Discord, in the Parenthood channel, but the kid was born like Wednesday or Thursday, and they had to go back to work on Monday.
Yeah.
Just
like
we got to. I mean, it's so critical.
Yeah,
it's so critical.
You realize it pretty hard. It's like this is important. I need to be around for this.
Yeah, it's more important than anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, everything else just starts to be like, whatever. I mean, I'll do it to make money, or I'll do it because I enjoy it. But there are so many things like you're talking about, Zach, that cease to have any pull at all. Where it's like this just doesn't reach the bar of important. The scale has been stretched so high.
Yeah, that's
like,
exactly
if
it.
it's under here. Like, I'm not doing that anymore.
And things are going to change, but until, at least for me, I'm a very experiential person. So like you get in and then it's like, oh yeah, that's not. I don't care. I can't care anymore. I can't care anymore.
Yeah, there's just stuff with the words. You have to experience it. And I think there's a lot of things. I mean, bad breakups, divorces, death, or having a kid, or some of the things that you just can't really understand until you go through it.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing.
Yeah, and TLDR, parenting, I think even in these early stages is hard.
Sure. Yeah.
And there's 1,000 things coming at you every minute, and all these things happening. And if you're fortunate enough to have a partner, you're not going to agree on everything. And I feel grateful that we had a long period of time in a relationship prior to this moment.
Yeah.
Because there are lots of things that if we had been going through, I know people that get married and have a kid like within a year or two. It's like
sometimes it works.
It's just hard.
Speaking of things you don't understand, let's talk about sorcery.
Yes.
Two things. One question I want, general, quick fire question. What's your weird dad media you've gotten into while holding your child?
Dad what?
Media.
This is embarrassing. It's not that weird. So I watched a lot of Olympics.
Great.
I did a ton of that.
And we now there's the opening and closing ceremonies every day at the house. It's like the cleaning and organizing of certain things. It comes from that. But I watched the entirety of Breaking Bad.
Oh, how was it?
It was. I had never seen it. It's my brother Daniel's favorite
gory?
show. I mean, it's intense, but the first couple of weeks we were on separate shifts, and there'd be like a 6-7 hour period, which is me and the baby. And after a couple of days, I was very much trying not to work.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I need something to have on or not. And my brother had asking me to watch Breaking Bad, and I was like, fine, okay, let's do this. It was phenomenal. Incredible show, incredibly well written.
Nice.
You
watched Better Call Saul, right?
I've not. That's the next. Yeah, I know. You said that.
You get to watch Better Call Saul now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
so
exciting.
That's the weird. It's not weird, but that was a lot of my time.
What about yours, Steven?
I got into Pluto TV, which was Lupin the Third.
Very good.
Had no idea about any of that.
It's amazing, right?
It's just Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Like early Cowboy Bebop. Is that like I guess it's like the kind of, it was like 60s or 70s when it started, as I understand it. So that was fascinating. I would just put that on. Anime was really good because I usually didn't want the sound on anyway.
Yeah, subtitles, that's right.
So I just watched the subtitles, and that's how you should do it anyway. So that worked out. And then I also have been watching a lot of Westerns.
Nice. Very
just like
good.
they have an old Western movie channel. Like it was Gun Show at the OK Corral, Murder at the OK Corral this morning, I think was the first one, and then rolled into another one that I didn't know. But I was just, when I watched this incredible movie called The Promised Land. It's a Danish film, I think.
Oh, you were telling me about that.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy good. I love that movie. That's the kind of weird cinema that I like.
Second thing, and then we'll move on, but this needs to be addressed.
What's that?
Do you see it? Do you see it on your TV?
Justin. Good friend Justin, still about 4 to 6 years out from that, about to propose and get married in May, and we want to wait 3 to 5 years to have kids. Beautiful. Whoa.
Lasers one last time. Oh, fireworks.
Congratulations, Justin. Well, I assume.
Hope she says yes.
I hope she says yes.
Yeah. I think it's very smart. So I got married, and our plan was to wait at least 3 years. And then we did. And then we waited 3 more years because it was very challenging for us to get pregnant. And I was very grateful for all of that time.
But here's the thing, man. We only get one shot at it, so we don't know.
Yeah.
Like, we could have gotten married and had a child within 6 months, and it may have been better.
Yep.
I just don't know. We have
no
idea.
I'm glad I had that time. It would not exist if I had this time first.
Yeah.
It'd be different. I'm not saying it's worse.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I'm just saying if I were to do it over again, I wouldn't be looking to change it.
Yeah. But you know what? You know what's crazy about that? I bet there's some deep research on this. I bet it would be so difficult to find people who fundamentally would change almost anything about their lives.
Yep. Pretty common.
Because even tragedy, even problems, even trauma, all this kind of stuff.
I don't know, dog.
People, would you? Because your identity is baked into all of these things that you went through, and
I'm glad that it worked out. I'm glad I'm where I'm at. You know what I mean?
Right. You don't want a butterfly like that.
However, if I feel like I wasted a lot of time.
Okay.
I learned from it, so it's hard to say.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
As an
example, he didn't say he would change anything, did he?
No, he just said
as an example, if I was talking to my daughter, and let's say she was 19 or 20, if at the time she's dating her high school sweetheart, I would probably
it's one of those.
Encourage some different choices. You know what I mean? So like my whole life.
But who would you be without that experience? Would you have ever met your second wife? Would you?
But what I know is that I don't know. I wouldn't change it because I am where I am. Like I said.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I would recommend the same thing as someone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you wouldn't change it. Yeah. All right, Sorcery. So what do you think, man? First of all, we're gonna crack some beta packs today because we gotta play some Sorcery today. We just want to play it. I love this game.
Read us in real quick.
This is the greatest.
Arthurian Legends is coming out in 3.5 weeks.
That's right. It was October 4th.
And they went ahead and posted over the weekend or on Friday or something, a document that was, here's the updated rules in advance of Arthurian Legends, premiering at Essen in Germany. And we want people to be able to understand this going into release instead of having to figure this out later. And almost innocuously, I think that's the right word, almost innocuously mentioned the fact that they're moving to, right now you have a 40-card spell book, like your primary deck, and a 20-card atlas, which is your locations.
That's right.
In Constructed. They're moving it to 50-card spell book, 30-card atlas.
Mm-hmm.
And their intent is to get to 60-card spell book, 40-card atlas.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I saw that and I went, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Moving along. And then, feeding the baby, putting Lily down, figuring that out. And then like 4 hours later, I come back and someone posted in our Discord in the Sorcery channel and said, have you been following what's going on over in the Sorcery Discord? And I was like, not really. And I went over there and looked. And it reminds me of that GIF from Community where Childish Gambino is walking in and then the fire. And then it's just like, I'm out of here.
I like that you referred to Donald Glover as Childish Gambino too.
Yeah, of course.
His hip hop persona in Community.
That's just what I think.
Yeah,
it is Donald Glover.
It's actually surprising because I wouldn't picture you as a Childish Gambino fan.
I don't. I mean, I respect what he's doing.
Yeah,
and enjoy it. I'm not a huge fan, but I am a
massive artist.
Fan of, I don't know, art and quality, generally speaking. And anyways. That's just what I thought of when I pictured him. Right. So, but all that to say, there's a lot of charged up opinions over this reality, and there's a lot to be said about it. But anyways, I'm curious.
Start saying.
So,
that's why the people.
The thing I don't want to necessarily do is try to speak for the other viewpoints because I can speak for those.
I think
in my lens, Sorcery is a card game, collectible card game.
So far, so good.
That is intended, the target audience, as it were, is the kitchen table player. And there's so many things that reinforce this to me. One is there's one set a year. So it's not the meta does not evolve particularly fast. So second one is structurally the rarity system, unique, elite, exceptional, ordinary. Because uniques are one-ofs in decks and you usually have 5-10 uniques in your deck. The variance in the game is quite high. You can't really build decks fully around unique cards in your deck because most of the games you're not going to, even at 40 cards, you're not necessarily going to see them.
Sides are a little bit different.
Yeah. And you have a mulligan rule, but they recently tweaked the mulligan rule to be less aggressive so that it's even less consistent. And the logic behind increasing these numbers is as the card pool gets bigger, while you can't count on any one unique showing up, the more cards that get created, of course, the more likely you are to have multiple different cards that achieve loosely the same thing. So Violent comes in, does 2 damage. You might not have a card that does exactly that, but if you give Fire another card that comes, or a different element, another card that comes close, suddenly you have 16 cards in your deck that do the same exact, fill the same role, basically. So consistency goes up. Same would be true of uniques, whereas right now we have this pool of uniques, and Arthurian Legends comes out, and then set 3 comes out, and then set 4 comes out. So it's possible that, and we've already seen it in so another thing that Sorcery has done from the beginning is the bottom-up organized play approach, which is we're not really going to do anything. We're going to support players. There's going to be a dust system. You can earn points from playing at events, and you can cash in for promos. But there's no Pro Tour. There's no qualifying, all that kind of stuff happening.
There are regionals, worlds, nationals, etc.
And just the way the cards are all designed, too, is very much a kitchen table focus to me. Big splashy effects, the golden rule, the way they're written is not the kind of writing you would put into a game system if you were going to have $1 million tournaments or whatever going on.
Resolve the stack effectively.
Yeah, it's like can move east to west for free. It's like, what does that mean? It's like we all know what that means, but they're not really spelling it out. So all of that compounds, and then they have this update about the deck size rule happening, and it's essentially we want to keep the level of variance in the game that existed when beta was first out / alpha. And so giving you more cards means that your consistency, there's more options and your consistency will go up. So we're going to ratchet that up. And then I assume by set 3, they're going to go up to the full original vision. And there's screenshots of comments from Eric, who's the creator / founder from like early 2023 saying the eventual goal is 60-40 decks. that's not like publicly known largely. It's not on the banner of the website or anything.
It's a deep cut.
But the part of what happens for me, and then if you can speak for the other perspective, that'd be great. But part of what happens is, I think the bottom-up organized play approach resulted in, like we went to SorceryCon this year. We're going to SorceryCon 2 in early November. If you haven't checked that out, you should. That'll be a good time. But that's all fan run. There was also the circuit, the Sorcery Courtesan Cup. There it is. All these qualifying stores were hosting events, and there was this big gathering. At this point, it was the biggest gathering in Sorcery. And so if you're a player of tabletop games, particularly card games, certain things they're almost loaded keywords. And this was also a discussion that's been happening here and on the Discord this weekend about what's the difference between a board game that's primarily using cards with expansions and an expandable / lifestyle game, and where are these delineations? But if you walk into a game store or you go to a friend's house and it's like, oh, we're playing this new collectible card game called Sorcery, and we're preparing for this tournament that's happening next week. And you go to this tournament and there's prizes and stuff. It looks exactly like, everything else. So if you
except it's all traditional art.
Yeah. But from just a macro standpoint, it's like, oh, we're playing a card game. We each have our own deck. We're competing. There's prizes. Everyone here's taking it pretty seriously. Everyone's pretty good at it.
And I think specifically to your point here, the goal is to tweak my deck to the most consistent, most powerful thing that it can be so that I can win a tournament or win an event with it.
Yeah, and so because of the bottom-up approach, there are players that took it seriously and competitively, and there are also players that don't know otherwise, who aren't on the Discord, who didn't see that comment in 2023 from Eric, who, how read into this do you need to be if you just saw it on a shelf and bought it, right? Or a friend showed it to you or whatever. And so part of it is just Sorcery by its nature is taking a very different approach. And, the idea that they would just say, all right, here's the new deck size and we want to increase variance in the game is not normal.
Yeah, really that last one is the key. It's not normal to hear a publisher say, we want to increase variance.
Yeah.
We want this to be more random.
Yep.
Less skill expression, if you will, if you want to put it that way.
And that's where, Sorcery cleverly, to me, reduced variance compared to a game like Magic and splitting out the Atlas deck. But then they increased variance to me in an enjoyable kind of way. Because variance of resources, mana, do I draw any? Do I draw too many? Does my opponent draw any? Do they draw too many? And how those line up? That's not particularly fun.
Yeah.
It's like we play a game, you don't have resources, I do, that's not fun. I don't have resources, you do, still not fun. I only have resources, also not fun.
Yeah.
Then they amped up the variance by saying, well, we're going to give these really wild uniques and elites that are very crazy and splashy and do stuff that is profound. But, it's 1 out of 40 cards.
Which notably in our How to Run a Game podcast is like one of the biggest things you shouldn't do. And that perspective on the podcast is coming from a competitive game mindset, a CCG well-balanced mindset. The kind
of like unspoken goal when we were doing How to Run a Game, it's funny. The unspoken is how to create a balanced format or a balanced game that people will enjoy. And those are ways that people kind of get off, right? Yeah. One-ofs being one of those. But that's baked into this game from the start. But even in Sorcery, though, to me, the one-ofs are not, like in Conquest, Conquest LCG, the one-ofs were, if I get my one-of and you don't get your one-of, I probably just won the game.
Yeah.
That's where that topic came from in my mind, versus this is, you're going to see uniques. You just don't know which ones you're going to see. And that's a feature or a bug, depending on how you look at it. So I saw it, and I'm fortunate enough that I have a lot of people to play this with. The only tournaments I've played in for Sorcery were at SorceryCon. One of those was limited, which this wouldn't even impact at all. And the constructive one I played, but I didn't particularly grind for or prepare for, partially just because of the nature of Sorcery. And so I saw the deck size change, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Moving on.
If it had started at 60-40, nobody would care.
Yeah.
And that's just the nature of change. I think everybody's just worried. Change is just... You learn it more than ever, every day. Change, especially as you get older, it just gets more annoying. You just get more scared of it. You get more conservative. That's just the way the human brain works. But I'll play a little devil's advocate on this because I think I think it gets back to the heart of the problem, which to me, it comes down to the fact that most of us believe that certain ways of playing these games end up being more fun for everybody. But we also accept the inevitability that we're not all going to agree to do the thing that makes it most fun for everybody. Because there's a human, if you will, and for TCG players, this is one of the great appeals, to take something, to tweak it and refine it and perfect it outside of the game, and then to bring it to a table and prove to yourself and everybody in that room that you were the cleverest, most effective thinker of all in that room, which is one of the great appeals of TCGs. What's up?
It's so good. I'm sorry to have to interrupt you.
What, that quote, Rogue Operative, the only thing we grumble about more than change is when things stay the same. Yeah, no joke. There's always grumbling, right?
Uh-huh.
But this is to your point. When you hear TCG, one of the polls, one of the reasons we all love to do this is because of the deck building. Mm-hmm. And it's because we can get to a consistent deck that we think is very effective. And it's so fun to see our idea play out on the table over and over and over, and to see it work over and over and over. And then to see that the concept we had in mind was the correct thing to bring in that moment, and look at us, how smart are we and how successful are we because we figured this puzzle out, and then the next week it's going to be a different puzzle. And that's the beautiful thing. People will change their decks to accommodate what we did, and now we have to change ours to accommodate what they did. And can we do it again the next week? Or can we create something so powerful that no matter what they do, it can't beat us? So that's a tantalizing thing about card games, but it also is why they start to be awful. Because then you get to a meta where it's like degenerate, awful interactions that are overly powerful and not at all fun to play against, slamming against you at the top tables over and over and over. Mm-hmm. And it's like, did I draw my third cancel spell before they drew their fourth fireball? If no, then they win the game, and I'm doing the same deck because we all know this is the most powerful interaction between the cards. Now we're all really bored and we hate where things are, and we're going to wait 3 to 6 to 8 months until a new set comes out. We're going to be really excited about the idea that all this crazy stuff is going on, the meta's wide open, and things are going to change, and it's going to be this beautiful environment. It will inevitably distill down to these really powerful 2 to 3 decks that everybody hates playing against, and then they'll wait 8 months, and they'll do it again. Mm-hmm. And everyone will complain about the openness of the format, and then they'll complain about how tired and boring the format is, and then they'll complain about the fact that there's a new card that nobody saw coming, and it shouldn't exist like that, and that rule shouldn't have worked like that, and on it'll go. And so the publisher's role in like trying to police the human instinct to make something refined and work, knowing that if we all do that at the same time, it's going to make the game worse, is a really interesting interplay between like, and so most publishers, they try to solve this by introducing cards that kind of rock, paper, scissor around so that as things get refined and consistent, there's answers and counters in the matter for this being too strong. Well, then they'll just run these cards, and then that can be countered by this, and that can be countered by this. And then people complain, oh, it's just rock, paper, scissors. We get this in Fab all the time. It's like, oh, well, if you brought this hero, then I'm just going to lose because like you counter what I'm doing. And that's just what it is. Azalea's going to get beat by Bravo on set 1. It's just set 2. It's going to happen. It's just a counter to my strategy. So there's no panacea here.
Yeah. Well, and I think with Fab's such a good example of this to me. It's so tightly wound that certain cards push it over the edge quickly, like can break the game to a like problematic point. The other thing is, over time, at a certain level of Fab, like it's very grindy,
right?
And it tires people out, and it also prevents like the number of people I've seen now saying, you know, I played Fab for 3 months, never won a game, and like bounced, and it was not fun ultimately. Like eventually it was like, this is no longer fun. So it kind of the intent of the game, do you view it as a sport? And to me, the how to run a game and the balance and the really tightly wound games are approaching sport levels. And it's like, there are people, I play basketball and I love playing basketball, that I could never beat a one-on-one. Similar with some of these very tightly wound games. And so that's where, you know, you have comments about unfair or variance or whatever. And it's a fine line. If you don't just want to be chaotically losing for no reason and there's no skill expression whatsoever. At the same time, if it's the other direction, I can see a world where it's like, oh, this deck or these decks are just unbeatable. And so you show up and it's like, you can't, Like there's a clip from SorceryCon that I love. I think it'll be a short that we post where someone's talking about how they built their deck during a draft. And it's like, well, I opened an Ancient Dragon or whatever, and then I also opened a Phoenix, and then I opened a Grapple Shot, and I thought it'd be cool to send a Phoenix across the field with a grapple or whatever. It was the Cyclops. And then that was kind of the end of the story, which is very different than like if you had that same clip of a Fab player after even this weekend was a world premiere of Rosetta,
right?
What they were thinking when they were building the deck, and it's like
it's a different narrative. For
it's
sure,
a very different thing. Yeah.
But it does. I mean, the thing about skill expression, it always just shifts. I mean, it just shifts from deck building to risk management during the game. That's all that variance does, right? So you can go really hard into risk management. Now we're playing poker, or you can go really away from risk management. Now we're playing even a game like Ashes, where I'm starting with the 5 cards that I want. So it's never that there's not skill expression. It's just the kind of skill expression that you're looking for. And if you're increasing variance, you're basically saying we want more reaction during the game than we do basically academic work before the game begins, which I think is a fine thing to do. Now, most of the time, the limited formats in a TCG have been the release valve for the constructed environment. So if you're the kind of player that wants the on-the-ground risk management kind of experience with this game, you play Draft and Sealed. If you want to tweak your deck endlessly and find the perfect combination of cards, then you play Constructed. Now, the question becomes, does this change actually change anything? Because this is the trap that a lot of people get into with TCGs writ large. Does going from 40 to 60 just mean that I have 20 slots that I fill with things that draw me cards so that I can get to the 40 cards I wanted to play anyway? Does it actually get to a point where over the next 3 sets, I have enough redundancy that it may as well be a 40-card deck, 20-card deck, doesn't matter. They're all basically the same card. Does it also hurt? And this is the thing, our definitions continue to be so insufficient because you can't realistically come into a constructed environment and just say, I just want to have fun and throw a goblin across the board. It's like, I guess that's cool, but we didn't come into the event with a goal of who can do the coolest thing. Now, maybe we could create a format that's about, but we came into the event to put 60 cards together, 40 cards together in the most effective way to achieve the goal, which is to win. Now, you can do that in clever ways. You can do that in ways that are off meta. And that's what I love doing, right? That's what you love doing ultimately. That are just weirder. It's like, oh, well, nobody's valuing Submerge very well. I wonder if I can make that work. Most of the time it's not going to work. But making variance higher also hurts those kinds of decks because you need to be able to consistently do the weird thing you want to do as much as you can consistently do the degenerate thing you want to do. So is consistency actually a welcome thing for the constructed format no matter what? Does it actually make it less competitive? It's like, no, not really.
Well, I will say a good example of this is the Atlas deck. And one thing making it bigger, like when we get to 40 cards in the Atlas deck, multi-colored Atlas decks start getting riskier.
Definitely.
Because statistically, you're still as likely to draw a fire site or not. However, your chances of drawing all fire sites go way up, right?
True.
So if it's 10 and 10, and you can mulligan 3 of them, that's really, even in draft, I was doing often 3 elements. Like we posted the video of me doing the draft strategy piece, and it's like I just go in assuming I'm on the 3 elements that aren't water.
Yeah, right.
And it's because the resource decks in that are so tight that with a mulligan, I can almost guarantee I'm going to see at least one. So I can play 1 threshold of all of this period, and a lot of times 2 of them. So once you're at 40, that definitely, to me, it's less about variance of what locations you're getting, and more it's incentivizing playing less colors.
It is. You're right.
In the deck.
Yeah.
Good or bad. That
Unless
exists.
they print a lot more dual lands.
Yeah. In the same way that in your actual deck, if you were on 3 colors, you're double pain. It's like, oh, what if you see no air sites, but only the air cards?
Yeah.
And the bigger the deck gets, the more likely, even if it was 20-20-20, and then you were splitting, 13, 14 on the resources. So it gets clumpier in that way.
Yeah.
So there's also, and you see in Arthurian Legends, like Guinevere's 4 colors and Lancelot's 2 colors. And so I have a feeling, and they mentioned this, that they've been testing these deck sizes, that they're starting to push the limits on multicolored. And it's like, well, if Lancelot is Earth Fire, and this other card that's really devastatingly good with Lancelot is Fire Wind, it's like you can technically play these cards together. You're just going to have to do it at a greater risk, and it lets them do that kind of a thing. So I don't know the full picture. What I do know, there was some really good exchanges going on in our Discord channel about this. There's some pragmatic elements of this that I think could be handled, like if you're a publisher or a eventual publisher of a game. The way changes are communicated, it's like change is always a delicate reality. Even this case, right? And we've seen some of this too with this change or the change to 24 count packs in Arthurian Legends. And it's, yeah, you released beta and alpha in this way and it had this many packs and was this price. And then here's this different thing. So when that information comes out and how it comes out is something to be really thoughtful about. And I saw some practical realities of people saying, I bought sleeves and I bought deck boxes for Sorcery and I bought storage solutions on the idea that this was the size that I needed to fit. And now suddenly it doesn't fit in that thing anymore, right? Or I'm going to need new deck boxes. And I wish I had known about this a year earlier or whatever it is. And you're never going to get that always perfect. But there were stuff like that coming through as well.
And as much as the thing that I like about it is as much as it feels like, oh man, this was a unexpected pivot to something because they're wanting to change X, Y, or Z for whatever reason. It actually, like the opposite of that is true, which is never has it been more clear to me that Eric has a very distinct vision for how he wants this game to go, and he does not care what you think at all. And honestly, that is so liberating to see compared to these popular franchises, popular games, popular entertainment, television, etc., being run by a committee of reviewers who you're trying to get to say good things about your stuff. And so you have episode 9 of Star Wars, which is we got to deliver for the fans. When we're not delivering on the vision of the director or the vision of the cinematographer, we're delivering for the fans because we're worried that they won't like it if we don't do X, Y, and Z.
Punch the checklist.
And that is why everything is awful. And so I would much rather Eric take a chance on following a vision completely and alienating 95% of people than I would on a milquetoast, we will have you vote on what you like.
Yeah, well, and I think in general... I'm not surprised there are people upset by a change.
There are reasons to be upset about it.
Yeah, 100%.
Things about it that you're not going to like as much.
And I think people that really are loving Sorcery right now and competing in Sorcery right now, they're the ones most likely to be upset by this.
And they'll be fine.
Yeah, but for me...
They won't stop competing. They'll be fine.
For me, the decision is very in line with what I expected out of Sorcery from what I've been hearing from the very beginning and what this game is and who it's for. But... it is really refreshing to see someone have such a clear idea of what that is and do it. And yeah, there are going to be some people upset about this. But if you're doing something, usually if you're doing something worth doing, there's going to be people upset about it.
Yeah.
Because it's like an equation. And if there's no one upset about it, there's probably no one particularly enthused or loving it.
Jacked about it.
And so it's like, yeah, you can create, like to me, episode 9 is an attempt to be as neutral as possible. There is no salt and no butter. And no fat and it's just like
potato.
what's something that anyone that came into this theater could enjoy consuming, and that's fine. But if you are trying to create something specific and something unique, that's not ever going to be it. And there's going to be a lot of people that don't like it, and it's not necessarily for everyone. And that's tough. That's especially for someone who thought it was for them. Like if you came in, you're competing on it, you love this game, you love the art, you love the old school vibes, and you love all of it. And then you're essentially at this point being told that's not, and then you're like, oh, I'm upset that you made this change. And it's like, well, sorry, move on.
But that is also, we do have to admit, that is a bit of an overreaction here, right? Like all of those things that you loved about the game are still the same. Like a light change in the deck size is really not going to impact. I mean, yes, it's not as ideal as we wanted it to be. You will be competing with a 50-30 deck next month, and you'll be competing with a 60-40 deck a year from now because we know the kind of person you are. You're the Zacks of the world. you are going to be competing in this game. We can't stop you. There's nothing we can do to stop you from doing this. You'll do it if there's no prizes. You'll do it if you have to play in a basement. You will do it if you have one other person to test against. You'll travel the world to do it. You'll do it if it's a 100-card atlas library. It doesn't matter. You'll do it because you love the idea of making a deck and seeing what you draw and seeing what hits the table and seeing if you can outsmart the person across from you.
The time I would stop doing it is when the variance is so high that I can't, like, all the work you're talking about.
Deck building is meaningless.
Yeah, it's like if we could just slap random cards together and play, then it's like I don't particularly enjoy the card game War.
Right.
And it's like, let's just like flip a coin and do something else, you know?
Yeah.
But I think the threshold on how much skill expression there needs to be for me to continue to enjoy it is way lower than most games have ever explored.
Yeah.
And that's where, to me, like, the uniques in Sorcery, I kind of eating the How to Ruin a Game crow on this one, was an implementation of uniques by design that very much felt like a feature, not a bug, where I love, personally, the skill in building a deck that no matter which uniques I have a way of playing that into the field.
Into a strategy, too.
Where it's like, yeah, I might not get the Ancient Dragon, but I will get either the Ancient Dragon, the Phoenix, this, or this.
Some big creature.
And it's like, yeah, all my ordinaries and my general game plan is assuming I will see, do you have grapple shots or not? And so you, even that's part of why I love the limited experience of this, is that on the next level. And what's the card that moves like a knight? That thing?
Yeah, flanking maneuver.
It's like, I know it's in my deck. So like I can position, I don't even have it yet, but I know 2 copies are in there. I can position knowing that if I do draw that, this is going to be amazing. And then you do draw it and it's like, this is actually, but all the cards are so particular. And you can't count in constructed, like with the uniques, you can't count on them. I think there's a huge skill expression. And I would be curious, and you're talking about the overreaction. It's overreaction because we haven't experienced it yet.
Well, sure.
If we experience it, and then it is truly just a Wild West, and it doesn't matter what you put in your deck.
But we know that's not true.
I don't think it'll be true at all. I don't think it'll be close.
Numbers.
Yeah,
we know numbers.
I think the actual consequence is playing more than 2 colors is going to get very risky. Like, that's what I truly think this is, and I think the way Arthurian Legends has the multi-resource stuff going on, that's intentional.
And it makes Elementalist the jam.
It does make the Elementalist the jam.
That's like a total archetype that has opened up in a big way. But I guess in closing, the thing here would be, as always, you can do anything that you want. People are saying that in the chat as well.
Even tournament organizers, the ones organizing them, really competitive. If you want
we're going to play a 40-20 tournament.
Beautiful.
Boom. Love it.
I also think 40-20, I'm excited about this idea, is particularly good for like Arthurian Legends only, which I like the idea of playing Arthurian Legend only decks. And then it's like, this is a smaller, more condensed.
Like set specific would be 40-20.
Yeah, you want to play the alpha beta format.
60-40.
You want to play anyways.
I can see that happening. And so, yes, there's always, and it's difficult because we're just used, the level of empowerment that can happen here with people really feeling like they can take control of the game and play it the way that they want it is unusual. That hasn't happened in a very long time because publishers have consistently taken more and more of the reins for expectations that players should have and have essentially asked stores and tournament organizers to follow those specifications. And that has been the trend for 20 plus years. When they weren't doing that, they birthed Constructor Commander format and the judges made Elder Dragon Highlander and all of a sudden it was the most popular format. And then it's like, let's stop. We don't want that again. Heaven forbid we find a more fun way to play a game that we're all playing. But there is some weight behind what a publisher does and the expectations that they're setting by saying these deck sizes are going to be higher and most players are going to want to follow those specifications. So I think it is a little disingenuous to just say, do it however you want, even though we do know that that's very possible. But 60-40 or 80, whatever, skill expression and the ability to see more interesting experiences on the table do not necessarily diverge. There is still skill expression, even if you have more variance. And it's just a different kind of skill expression. And so I don't think it's fair to say if decks get less consistent, the game takes less skill to play. It's just that you have to manage more unknowns and more variables. And that can be really enjoyable too. So it's like, what kind of game do you want it to be? And Eric's saying like, I want it to have more unexpected stuff happening than a script that you follow every single game.
Yeah. And my hypothesis / theory is that I think there might be more skill expression in that way.
It's somewhere, yeah.
It's not variance like Magic Land, in my opinion. You're still going to draw cards, and you're still going to see things. It's really just there's going to be more variance in what particular things do you see, and do you have the capacity to both utilize that and react to your opponent doing the same in a more clever, more effective sort of way.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, there's a line somewhere there.
So I was wondering, if you look at this holistically, and you look at this with the one set a year in mind, you can actually get to a place where you talk about Magic and Fab and things like that they're basically having to add back in variance to their game by releasing more and more and more sets.
Absolutely.
Because it's so tweaked. But in a game where it's only one set a year, the variance is in the deck building, right? That 60 card deck or whatever should carry you along. And I mean, the other thing is I love roguelites in games. And they're like the stickiest gameplay there is, because sometimes you get the build and you just crush. And you look forward to that. And it's 1 out of 10 or 20 or 30 times. But like that'll keep bringing you back to the table. So I think those things are worth considering.
Yeah, that basically even if you only do it so often, building a deck that can do a thing so often is still very satisfying to play.
Right, when it does.
And then sometimes there's a tournament where you do it 6 times in a row and you feel like a demigod.
That's right.
Yeah, and that is pretty cool. And that is cooler than running the exact same script and playbook every single time and knowing that if they're playing white-blue and they draw the thing, then they shut my deck down. Otherwise, I win on turn 4.
Yeah, that's definitely at a certain point. And your point about a game like Fab is a good one, which is they introduce variance and change and differences by having a set every 4 months.
Right.
It's like this changes. But Fab at some level became, do I remember the script? Like that's part of why I like playing Viserai so much, because he's just insanity when you're sculpting the hands and making decisions. But generally speaking, especially when I'm playing Bravo, it's like I have a game plan into this hero and I'm going to execute it, and I'm going to be very disciplined, and that's how I'm going to win. And the more practice I get doing that game plan against that hero and against any hero I might play, the higher my odds are of doing well at this thing. And at some point, once you've done that and you know the script and you're capable of doing it, that's where interest is less for me, which is always
wanes.
Where I end up on something like Viserai, which is like, this is unsolved. And so instead of picking the deck that is solved and just becoming very good at it, it's like, I'm going to try to tackle this problem that is not solved yet.
It's like you introduce variance
myself
on your own side.
Yeah. And I naturally do that, like
too.
all the time. And sometimes the stars align and that works out. But having a game that has it built in for and the Sorcery Con Constructed, that was the first glimpse of it for me. There were definitely people mitigating variance harder than I had seen in Sorcery in Constructed. And then we played the Limited on Sunday, and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And that's where, we have to appreciate, right? Would we want a 200-100 format? Would we want a 500-300 format? It's like, that sounds like, that's actually way too much. So there's clearly polls of what's acceptable, and saying that 40-20 is too consistent, maybe 150 is too random, so we're going to shoot for like the 60-40. I think that's a pretty okay triangulation of like where we want to be.
I think practically speaking too, shuffling a deck bigger than 60 cards is really obnoxious for me.
It is.
It's just like in deck boxes, like 100 cards.
Spoils, remember that?
100 cards is a normal amount of cards for like a deck box, like because Commander, which is 100 cards, Highlander, one of each. And so 60-40 is a nice like, this is 100 cards. Neither deck is bigger than 60. If they try to push beyond 60, I will push back just for like ergonomic reasons. It's like, my wrist can't handle my poor wrists. Anyways,
you please think of the wrist.
As a Sorcery player, though, I'm totally fine with it, and very much looking forward to Arthurian Legends. I understand why someone might be upset, or because they didn't expect this to happen. And we'll see. They have been nothing if not paying attention and reacting. So they aren't polling, hey, what would you like to see happen? But they're also listening. And so if it goes horribly, I don't think that they will suddenly be, okay, we're just committed to this because we said we were going to do it.
Yeah, but maybe.
I'd be surprised if it went horribly.
Yeah. And the only thing I really have to contribute on that is like we've been saying, and everybody's been so jazzed, and from the beginning, this game has said we're doing it differently. We're going to appeal to players that aren't typically marketed to, basically. And it's interesting that there's so much surprise that they're making choices that are different than every other TCG has made in the past like 15 years.
Yeah.
It's like they literally set out and marketed this differently to a different group of people, a group of people who have not felt like they had the TCG they wanted since like 94.
But and they're also just the people that always get second helpings.
Of course.
It's like we designed this game, we're making it for competitive people.
Yeah.
And then everyone else, if you're just playing the kitchen table for fun, you can figure it out yourself and do whatever.
And so we go along the line and we're one set a year and we're hand painted art and we're like big card effects and we got these unique rules. And then it's like, oh man, you're making a choice different than what is the expectation for a TCG.
Yeah.
We're furious. And it's like, this should be happening all the time.
Yeah.
That should be very different for me.
That was my first call with Sorcery for Eric, right? It was like, we're doing that. I know you're going to hate this, but we're doing this. And I was like, I love that. Like, this is great. You're totally different. So I'm with you. It's like a breath of fresh air. So when people react negatively to it, it's not confusing, but for me, the reaction is like, oh, great. And you were saying
it's
earlier,
more proof that the brand is intact.
That's right. And like my tendency to be a degenerate competitive player is real. So the more like they do that, I'm like, oh, great. Like, genuinely, please stop me.
Please.
Stop me from having
another. Because I will make
another.
this unfun. If you allow me to, I will make it unfun.
And so far, because of the way the game works and the rules and the people I play with and the one set a year, etc., I have approached Sorcery how they've intended it to be approached, I think. And also, I'm enjoying the heck out of it. I haven't been in a rush to figure things out. I haven't min-maxed as like completely as hard as possible. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I can't wait for the next set. But I also don't feel this, and as a new dad, this pressure or this time commitment to master these things in order to stay on top of what's going on. I just kind of get to enjoy it, which is awesome.
Isn't that awesome? I still had a moment where I was just scrolling through my Curiosity deck, and I'm like, I feel like I'm like 80%. Like I've had like a year. Yeah. It's like, man, I'm maybe 80%. I need to test this and this and this and this.
Yeah. And you've seen the meta too. Like there is not a tried and true, this is the thing that's dominating. It's every time I see a tournament happen, it's some new, it's like, oh, that figure's too good. And then until it's not.
Yeah, and then something else happens. And there's a Ghost Ship Spirits deck. And
that thing's crazy. I love it. I love it.
That's cool.
I do like pirates and ghosts.
You must love Halloween.
Yeah.
Also, before we get off of Sorcery and then come back to it, the Lance mechanic, another perfect example of the team at Sorcery knowing exactly what they're doing with this game. Any other game, any other TCG, Jonathan, oh my gosh. Can you imagine introducing a token card for a mechanic like this? How stupid is that? Just write on the card, make it a keyword. They strike first for the first time they attack. They've got a little imaginary lance. It's easy. Quick strike. Boom. We're there. No. We have physical objects in this universe. It's a lance. You can drop it. You can pick it up. How beautiful is that they did it that way?
If it were a keyword, you can't pass it, right? Like it just gets so tedious.
And you know what? It is more tedious, and it's harder to manage on the board, and you got to stack it on top of things, and it's like, yes.
But that's Sorcery.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever, I won't say ever, that's hyperbolic. It's rare that you see a game/publisher with such a clear vision that they are living and breathing with all their decisions, Lance Token being one of them, and really reinforcing it. I mean, I think this is what I don't know hypothetically. It's like, could this, someone was saying earlier in the chat, it seems like people kind of miss the message of kitchen table focus, bottom up OP, like, etc. Somehow. It's like, I don't know. I know that about it, so it's hard for me to get under communicated that. I would be curious what percentage of players fully understand the vision of Sorcery and whether or not that is something, because it is, to me, it's very, all the announcements and change, Lance Token even being a physical token in that rule.
Like, sweet.
So I guess this makes sense. I'm not surprised at all, and it's not off-putting. But if in a lot of TCGs, you could be like, oh god, more tokens. Like, here we go. So that is a curiosity for me, which is just that you do have such a clear vision. And I haven't really looked. I just understand it. So, and that's intuitive to me. So I'm not asking questions. But if anything, it would be, can you outline that very clearly and make sure that everyone engaging with you, and that's what's so hard is there's so many decisions they've made that reinforce that. It's hard to imagine missing that.
Yeah. Well, it's because like the fundamental thing of a TCG is so baked in.
Yeah.
You build a deck, you compete, and it's got to be satisfying to do that.
Even this was the last stream titled "You Don't Understand Sorcery." Was people were getting up in arms about one set a year and asking for like this game's going to die if we don't have 3 sets a year, 4 sets a year.
And look at it.
Yeah.
Look how dead it is.
And so
they were wrong.
Presently.
Well, everybody's alive until they're dead, right? I mean, but eventually they'll be right.
Just to me as an example, and our SorceryCon footage, I don't know how much of this we're showing in the produced stuff, but asking people what they hope to see in the future of sorcery, and like it was 90% of people saying, I really hope they stick to 1 set a year.
That almost all completely got cut out of the documentary. We might put it on a short, but yes, it was amazing to me how it was. I think 90% of people that we interviewed was like, in 3 years, I hope there's 3 sets out.
Yeah. But I understand why people would say we need 3 sets a year or whatever it is. All right.
Yeah, there's an announcement from Sorcery right now.
Yeah, Drew just got hired.
Drew got hired?
Mm-hmm.
As
Congratulations, Drew.
Scales up to launch Arthurian Legends is critical. We build our team to accommodate growth. Join us in welcoming the latest unique mortal to join the Eric's Heroes team, Drew. Wow, awesome, Drew. Congrats. Okay, hold on. I want to read this article.
He's now off to play.
That's good. That's good.
I'll have dad jokes all day.
Oh, man. All right, what are you going to be doing, Drew?
I'm assuming video content.
You'd hope so.
That stream they did early on with like the weather reporting style is
So
like
good.
smoked it.
It's very cool. It reminded me of a young Jonathan, to be honest with you.
It actually did.
Drew, you got to pass it on to the young. How old is Drew? Is he young?
He looks young.
Or is he just better?
We'll know soon. I think he's going to be at
By the
SorceryCon.
world.
Okay, Drew will be very present alongside Chase and Jesse when it comes to our social content, as well as taking a strategic role with Jesse in planning and implementing our expanded social and store play experience rollout in 2025.
Dude, you got Jesse and Drew working together?
So Drew's
on
just deep in. Yeah, these are two
this
guys
could be
that should
good.
be doing this. He's already hard at work alongside the rest, preparing for the worldwide launch of Arthurian Legends on October the 4th. I wonder if he's going to Germany.
It's the place to be.
We'll find out.
We'll
Man,
see you there.
I can't wait.
The Spiel Essen.
We're going to Germany, man.
Right, Chase? Chase is here. Hi, Chase.
We're going to Germany.
Can't wait to see you.
Woo!
Very excited.
You
Do we
ready
get to play yet or what?
No, let's breeze quickly through the news because
Okay.
we talked for a long time.
Quick.
All right, first up, Alpha Clash. We got the logo. Hold on.
No.
Oh,
Shake off the vacation rust.
Bro.
Caught him.
I'm just waiting.
We caught him
I'll
watching.
continue with
I'll
Alpha
get you on
Clash.
the next one.
Okay, so Alpha Clash set for preview
Clash.
season. Genesis returns underway. We posted our video, looking fantastic. I did a heartier review. I recorded that video like day 0 of me coming back from parental leave.
Well, that's true.
That
You made
and
a
the Sorcery Sir Lancelot. There it is, Sir Lancelot preview. So that was I was in a different state of mind. But I did a deeper dive into the cards that have been previewed and some other things that have not been previewed yet for our upcoming video. We're preparing some materials for that. All that to say, set looks great.
Papers, business
Yeah,
papers.
business papers, people skills. Set looks great. The contenders are really add a lot to the conversation that we were having on our preview.
Mm-hmm.
And really cool to see them continue their thing. Feels like they're in stride. They announced the details for their Pro Tour weekend coming up in
Yeah,
December.
they're doing it. They're hosting a con, right?
Yeah, they're hosting their own
ClashCon?
independent ClashCon. Yep, looks great. They have some cool like playmats and promos for going and a Pro Tour, and you can qualify if you play on Friday, and the artists will be there and all that stuff.
They're just cruising, man.
That is a publisher built on determination.
I love it.
Just absolutely at every turn.
They've about got it all established. They got the con, they got the Pro Tour, they got their set schedule rolling out. They've got a draft set for catch up. They kind of just start rolling now.
one step at a time.
Jonathan, what are we doing for that preview video? Can we talk about that? What are we going to record for Genesis
think-
returns?
I think we're attempting to play some gameplay
We're going to
stuff.
play with Genesis. We got the cards, special press cards.
So we're going to actually like jam a bunch of games
I think that's what
and actually play the new set.
And
That sounds fun.
Then they'll see. Then everyone out there wonder about those cards because there's theory crafting and there's playing, as we found out.
Is Hamilton going to like build the decks, or do we have to build the decks?
We might,
won't.
might
He
shout
won't.
that out to Hamilton.
I mean, so the problem is that the things we're building are with a lot of cards that have not been
Oh, right.
but we're good. I'm Pro Tour qualified Alpha Clash player.
You got it.
This will just be the beginning of my prep for Pro Tour, which I'm planning on going in December.
Love it.
So that'll be fun. But yeah, looking great. If you're unfamiliar, check that out. And moving along. So Arkham Horror.
Yeah, they had a scenario pack, right?
Yeah, it's somewhere.
Midwinter Gala?
It's right there.
It's got the name of the kind of thing that I want to play.
This is a scenario pack. We thought these had disappeared. They had not. But this is released. And my notes say we'll be playing on camera soon, which will be a good time. I miss Arkham.
The people have been wanting to see Arkham.
A party to die for.
Understandable.
This is the kind of Arkham I want to play.
Yeah,
like you're at a gala. It is the dead of winter, and Arkham's social elite have arrived in mist-shrouded Kingsport for an exquisite gala put on by the enigmatic Lantern Club. I mean, say no more. And it's designed by Jeremy Zorin with Eddie Kai.
The great Jeremy Zorin. I love Jeremy. One of the best designers in tabletop.
Still one of the best cooperative games ever made, if not the ultimate. Some people say it's Lord of the Rings, LCG.
Hey, don't you forget about Earthborn here, dog.
Well, but as far as the grandfather of the genre.
Oh. I mean, as of 2016, in the 2016 era.
Well, a grandfather would necessarily be the first, right?
Oh,
the one that
Lord of the Rings is the grandfather.
Well, it is. That's what I mean. People say that, but it's not this. This is something different. You're wandering around. You have a sense of location and presence and purpose. It's not just threat versus numbers.
Yeah.
Excuse me for discounting Lord of the Rings. LCG a little bit there, but
So would Lord of the Rings be like the Nokia brick, and this would be the iPhone?
Actually, yeah.
From like an innovations, it's like having a mobile phone that everyone has in their pocket is like step one.
Yeah.
And then Arkham was like the leap way past that.
I know there's big Lord of the Rings fans. I mean, honestly, if it was not a Lord of the Rings card game and it was just a non-IP'd card game that was doing those mechanics, I don't think anybody would care that much. That's true for a lot of things. But I was going to say, I think this is the innovation in the space.
Yeah. The fact that this is good enough that I will play a Cthulhu-themed horror game and enjoy the heck out of it is notably impressive.
And arguably, you could say Lord of the Rings goes to Marvel Champions and this goes to Earthborn. They got that open world thing.
If you were going to subdivide that category, that's definitely more appropriate. But Earthborn is, to me, it's probably the iPhone for me.
Yeah, maybe so. Like Andrew comes out and gives his
it's
PowerPoint.
Open world RPG card game. New.
Yeah, that is kind of true because remember Andrew early on was like, I want to talk about how many cards are in the core set and what dollar per card you're getting. He had that FFG mindset, and then it's like, no, dude, you scrap it all. You just say inside this box is like the greatest open world, never before seen card game experience of your life.
Yeah,
that's like, it doesn't matter how many cards are in there. Who cares?
I'm gonna be honest. I have never bought a product and asked how many cards were in it.
How many megabytes?
Yeah, that's exactly what that is. Anyways, we will play that on an upcoming piece of content. I assume it's stream, but who knows? It's wild over here right now.
We're wild.
Next up, we have Ashes. The spawn of Shadow Wreck has been previewed. Previews continue to go up. It's releasing.
That's Illusion.
Good. Yeah,
it's releasing on 20th.
Illusion's getting dangerous too. I described it in the Ashes chat. I'll just quote myself on this one. It's like in D&D. I remember when I was like in 2nd edition, I was playing Illusionist and I was doing like dancing lights and stuff. And then in like 4th edition, I think it became like Shadow Killer. And it's just like, your Illusionist can now just like save against death because you're so scared of this dark shadow. It feels like Illusion and Ashes has gone from like way to like, you're dead.
It's like, here's a mirage to this thing will murder you.
Yeah, no, it's like, you're dead.
Yeah. Well, that's coming out. Also, Andrew Cartwright running the Webcam League.
Andrew Cartwright crushing it.
On the Discord channel. That was cool. I saw you posted the picture of the tables in our Discord channel being full. And that's just so cool to see. That's definitely a bottom-up, organized play situation where you have a player. And that's so common with indie card games, honestly, where a player ultimately is organizing and doing so much to make these communities happen. So shout out to you, Andrew, for making that happen.
Yeah, and it takes a while. That's the other thing. It takes a while to organize and eventually get people involved and interested, and it takes so much determination, and he had it. Took a long time planning, and then a couple of runs trying to see when people could show up, and now we had 6 people. There were 7 with Andrew, and so he dropped, so there were 6 people playing.
Yeah.
On a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
It's like
early Sunday.
That's beautiful. Great job, Andrew.
Fresh coffee.
That's just amazing. It's a beautiful thing you've done.
Speaking of Andrew, next up we have Earthborn. I saw Andrew Navarro in the chat earlier too, and you were putting words in his mouth.
He's always creeping around, man.
Yeah,
This is the least productive day for Andrew of the week.
That's right.
we're delaying.
We set Earthborn back a year.
Honestly, that was the entire decision, moving it from Monday, because his first day of the week couldn't be that unproductive. So this happened while we were gone, I think, but confirmation of the local manufacturing update.
Yes.
Going out, which is the dream early on. I remember Andrew talking about this, but actually making games in the region/countries where they're going to go, so that you're reducing significantly the environmental impact of all of it.
And so the logistical burden.
Yep. So producing in the United States and I believe Europe, Germany. This time around, last time I think it was all Europe/Germany. And so that's a huge, United States is a large portion of the tabletop gaming audience. So being able to manufacture here is no small step. That's a huge leap for Earthborn/Andrew/tabletop, I think.
And just another publisher following their vision without asking questions about the rest of it. Just like I said I would do this, and I'm continuing to try to do it, and then I found a way to get it done.
Yeah, even if it
that.
will take longer, cost more, make people upset, make people not want it, make it infeasible for me to serve everyone. But that's when you have such a clear vision for what you're trying to do and who you're trying to serve. It's real clean.
Love to see it. Yeah. You love to see it.
Next up, we have Flesh and Blood, the TCG this
Man,
weekend.
Rosetta's blowing up, Zach.
Rosetta premiere in Florida.
People are crazy about that set.
It looks gorgeous.
Listen,
There's cards. There's all sorts of crazy looking cards and splashy stuff going on, and magic, and that Rosetta Thorn it's still banned, right?
it's rotated out. It's a living legend. It was tied to Briar.
Yeah.
So it left. The name of the set's Rosetta, which was a weapon in the game. This has to be the best looking and collectible and best set of. So last time I really played Fab was March of the Pro Tour, and then I retired, and we're having kids, and I was like, I know myself too well. I have to get out of this thing. Like, I can't be 1 foot in.
There are two wolves.
Yeah, and one wolf wins every time if I allow the wolf to exist. But man, my notifications were going off.
Have you seen X? Have you seen Y?
Constantly. It's like here's my prediction, knowing very little. I just seeing what I saw based on this. I think Viserai is tier 1 by a country mile. He may end up winning the World Championship this year. And it's both incredible timing and incredibly painful that those things are true at the same time.
But if he was like the 50% deck, you would not have run it.
I don't know if he's going to be the 50% deck, but I think he's got the tools to win. Mm-hmm. We'll see if he becomes a 50% deck. Then I'm glad I'm out because it would be so boring.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't play my favorite heroes. Like, what am I supposed to do now? But yeah, they just went to the nines, man. All the cards, they have the 9-piece arts that you assemble and all that kind of stuff. I would have spent an unrighteous amount of money on this set if I were still actively collecting. It's just like all the stuff. There's the Rosetta card that is the craziest looking card. It's not even playable and constructed, but I would have to own it. Yeah. And anyways, it's crazy.
Well, you did yourself a favor.
Yeah, they clearly did a good job because I saw the activity around Fab and they changed the spoiler season this time. I think they revealed almost no Majestics and none of the Legendaries or Fabled prior to this event.
Great. Yeah, and then they did a big pre-release.
It was all like commons and rares and like basic foundational stuff. And then this was the pre-release world premiere, all the stuff. And then there were so many goodies in terms of people getting little pieces of art on like it's like a slice of it. And it's like, oh, what's this? And they have to build the tableau and all that.
Yeah, I'll tell you something, man. I think one of the greatest things about TCGs is the discovery element of them in the early days of the sets existing. And I think you really should try to capitalize on that at all times. So don't reveal everything at a time. Reveal as little as possible.
Yeah, and it seems like
let people discover it.
It's truly collectible. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm dying of my water over here.
Yeah, I can talk to Jonathan for a second if you want to go take a bath or something.
But Sorcery, it felt like it achieved the same thing with particularly the curios and then the foils, because the foils are so hard to actually come by.
The curios, dude. I mean, like the Arthurian curio? There could be 50 of them.
I mean, is there going to be a one of one Holy Grail?
There could be a one of one in beta that we haven't even seen yet.
That's right.
I mean, it could be right here. And I
Right
hope
there.
it is.
I also hope it is. That would be
I
awesome.
still got a house to build, man. I really hope it is.
But yeah, it seems like they knocked that out of the park. So we'll see what happens on the stream. But I presume we'll be playing limited of that at some
Can we
point.
do some Rosetta Limited?
You know, man, we'll take a chance.
I hope they don't have all those weird mechanics that existed in Aria. Like ball lightning and that kind of thing. If you did the damage, the next damage is this. And I think that's kind of Lightning's thing. But
I haven't paid particular attention to the player reception, like how good is the limited format and stuff. But from what I've seen, it's being very highly talked about. I also saw they had a call-in this weekend that was limited, and the finals was Lucas Oswald versus Michael Hamilton. And spoiler,
still good.
Lucas won, but they're both really good players.
So Michael's still good.
Yeah, he still got it. Yeah.
So people like that kind of upset me.
I understand. I feel it. All right, next, Marvel Champions. FFG
Hey, this is cool.
started releasing weekly one-shots via social media.
Really?
This is cool.
Kind of like the weekly Ranger Report, but different. Have you seen an example of this?
Yeah. There's like 4 of them out.
Some
They're
say a
all
lot
on-
like it.
Well,
They're
weekly
all
Ranger Report is
on-
like an alt rule to play the game, but if this is like a one-shot scenario, I don't know how deep they're going into
Let
this.
me go look it up. They're all on Hall of Heroes. All
right.
Rebecca.
God bless that
Yeah.
thankless job.
Hey,
Killing it.
I'm telling you, man, these communities are the amount of people that put in effort and work to make this great. Even like the greatest Fab deck builder, February, you look at the number of Patreons and the amount of money being made. It's like there's no way. And
Yeah.
Talishar, it's like there's just no way.
No, it's but yeah.
But you're adding
Talishar.
so much. Same here with Hall of Heroes. You're adding so much value to these communities. So yeah, all of these games are a lot of people involved to make it what it is, and that includes people working at the publisher, etc. But just the number of just volunteer community members is staggering.
Just take the sorcery approach and hire them all.
What could go wrong?
That seems to be the goal. If you want to get hired by sorcery, just go do something.
Well, I mean,
They'll
if
try
you-
to snipe data here
Let
shortly.
me spoil something for you. You want to get hired at anything, just go do something.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you're going to get hired by sorcery.
No.
Okay.
I have some personal news. I am resigning effective immediately.
So this was the challenge number 1.
Okay.
Challenge
Okay.
number 1 posted on Twitter and Facebook by Fantasy Flight Games.
Is it
You're
just-
a friend of mine?
Rhino Heroic 3.
Yes, that's
Okay,
right.
great.
How'd you know?
They linked to our video.
This week's challenge is The Ground is Lava. Win the mutagen formula scenario with the flight modular encounter set using only heroes who have or can gain the aerial trait.
Oh, that's tight.
During this scenario, whenever an identity changes to alter ego form, deal that identity 2 damage.
That's so cool. That's really cool.
So, like,
That's very cool. I would play that.
particularly living card games, both the ones officially with the title and the ones without, forever, if you can actually get the community to buy into that sort of thing, whether it's a weekly or a monthly, like here's a thing that's changing and we're all going to do this, the amount of shared experience you can actually create, especially cooperative games when they have these broad bases of possible experiences, is really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And something I haven't seen leverage as much as I would like to see leveraged. We always talk with Thrones, like if every chapter pack came out and there was like, these cards are banned
Like a
because
new
these characters
chapter of the
die.
book?
Yeah, it's like, and it's just constantly, why would you, I mean, come on, it's right there. It's right there.
Jonathan, can you tell me how, as a social curious person, how many like interactions that post has?
Oh, interactions.
Like
gonna
hearts,
I'm gonna click on the link.
stars and
I'll tell you.
rainbows.
Hearts or smiley faces?
Okay, let's see.
comments.
Hey, while
We've
we're
got-
looking up likes, if you could smash
Is it
that
Twitter
like
or
button
Facebook?
There you go.
and
On
ring
Twitter,
the bell,
It's got
Subscribe.
four dialogue boxes, 9
Comments.
recycle symbols,
retweets,
7 hearts.
Rexes.
So
Rexes.
78.
Rexes.
78 hearts.
78 likes.
78 likes. Okay, that's respectable.
And then 8 bookmarks.
but isn't it still weird how minuscule social media is in the
10,
games community?
10K views. 10K views. 10K views. 10K views. 10K.
That's not minuscule.
minuscule.
We should do more there.
I mean, so it's strange. I've been considering my own behavior on social media. One, just because I'm getting less and less interested in any of it at all. But the amount of things I will actually like, even if I read it
Or liked it.
and liked it, but like don't think to just hit the button,
Mm-hmm.
is pretty high.
Yeah.
Which is why YouTube is the cleverest of them all. Like they can tell if you watched, like if it's a 5-minute video and you watch the whole thing, you don't have to hit that like button.
That's right.
They know you like
That's my
that thing.
favorite thing.
You may not have liked it, but you were engaged by it. And
Oh yeah,
you're gonna
getting
keep,
baby videos in your
Oh
feed,
yeah,
buddy.
man. One thing led to another.
So I looked up like insulation for the house, and now I've got half of my thing is just house stuff. which
Yeah.
I'm not terribly opposed to. And then, I looked up like a song that somebody said was like goofy, and I've got like weird music in my feed. So it strikes some gutters on that one, but
yeah. Like
I found out that
YouTube's the best though.
For reasons that are probably not comfortable. If you're signed in and someone sends you a link on your Google Chat or on your thing, the algorithm picks that up as something that you need to know more about.
So I can spike your feed?
You can just start spiking people with like weird trailers for stuff.
But you would love that.
Oh,
it's hard for me to imagine something I could spike you with that you wouldn't like, actually.
That's a good point. I like
you just get more esoteric.
Don't feed the machine. All right, last but not least, we have Warlord, Saga of the Storm. I don't know, we haven't had too many Warlord segments on the stream because it launched pretty, well, I guess we've been doing it for a minute, but
yeah.
We played a lot of Warlord there for a while.
It's all
we had a lot of games.
Anything prior to July is just
it's weird.
Haze.
Yeah.
Anyways, so community member Fintago with the help from Card Game Geek. So Card Game Geek is the one I worked with to get all my stuff.
Did you see this?
Yeah, because they've had to do it themselves for 15 plus years. So they just keep...
They're ready to go.
They're ready.
Put together 100 loosely decks, but it was like things you could use to build a deck and play and learn how to play. But put 100 together and effectively gave them out to the community for shipping, whatever that ended up being. And they were out in 3 days.
Isn't that amazing?
Which is good. And I sometimes with Warlord just forget, because we've been playing with the old cards, that it's actually a new game coming out with a totally new product and only new set, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Yeah, man.
That
era.
era.
I'm glad they're taking their time too. Like, you don't want the delay between set 1 and set 2. You want it until set 1. Like Sorcery proves this, right?
Yeah.
Just wait and get it right, because you get one launch.
Yep.
And just make sure it's not marred.
Yeah, because they originally had said Q4, and we updated our website to reflect this, but they moved it to Q1. And I think it's January for crowdfunding fulfillment is the target, and February for retail release.
Yeah.
And I also think if you're releasing an expandable card game, you're going to follow up with another set. The October, November is a treacherous time frame.
Yeah.
Because you're either going to be the thing or you're going to be forgotten.
Yeah.
Like you're going to come out, the holidays are going to happen, and then you're out. And you definitely don't want to release between like Thanksgiving week and New Year's. Don't do that. Don't do it. I'm just telling you, a lot of reasons. But so when I saw that, and even just a number of publishers that I've talked to that their first time around, they're just very optimistic about
every one of them
timetables.
Yeah, they think that the industry works like a lot of other industries.
And part of the problem is that a factory will tell you, oh yeah, it'll take us 6 weeks, and then it takes 3 weeks to ship from us to the United States. It'll be good. That never happens. And so anyways, them taking that approach and explaining like, hey, we're just going to push it back and not run the risk and get everything right and have everything ready, I think is very smart.
Also, people will tell you a lot of things when they're trying to get your money.
Yeah.
And then,
like a factory.
And then you give them
you'll have it 9 weeks flat.
And then it's like, what are you going to do? Stop printing it with us?
Yeah. I mean,
once half of it done.
Not only have you given them money, but like they've set everything up to be able to make it. And it's like, that's so much effort. You're stuck. Yeah. What are you going to do?
Don't I know it, man? Been dealing with contractors.
All right, that is the end of the list. We do have pre-orders up.
Wait, new Warlord spoiler today,
Earthborn and Warlord. Where? If you haven't checked those out.
Where?
Oh, also,
where do they announce this stuff?
On the Sorcery train. So we charge subscribers, and we're going. Are these mine?
I don't know. They're left over from the old box, and then I've got a fresh. Here, you get the fresh box. You pull 6 new ones.
So we charged. That fulfillment process is ongoing, and we are getting everything together to get those out. We do expect to have Arthurian Legends and Beta in stock again in the future. We'll post when that's happening. I would recommend, as always, sign up for the Discord notifications and the text notifications, and or either one, your call. And we'll let everyone know when that's happening. And thank you, Stephen, for contributing the box this fine day.
I can't wait. This is my last beta box. I just want to see if there's Curio in here. I want that water castle.
Worth covering, I think.
What is this?
The update 28. It's called Timelines, Quality, Conventions, and Spoiler.
Okay, give me the TLDR.
Well, I'm still
I'm
still DLRing it.
You gotta R it.
I gotta R it to DLR.
It's like the news. They'll take it into the editing room, and they'll come back to us on the teleprompter.
Isn't it crazy how fun it is still to open beta?
It is.
Yeah.
6, right?
Is that kind of stupid, right? It's like very surprising. You didn't even shuffle them together or anything? That could be your money pot, or it could be a total snoozer.
I got 2 from each pile.
Okay, that works.
I just wanted to keep it fresh.
Also, what is Greg saying here? Well, Sorcery CR. What is Sorcery CR?
Contested Realm.
Release beta again, or will players need to go to eBay or TCG to get the singles they want from beta in the future? I think this got to be the last time they print beta, right?
I mean, I think they're intentionally not committing to as much.
We'll have some more.
We
There's
will
another
have
wave
some
coming
more
through.
happening, and there has been a wave going through
Same wave, I guess.
through distribution and retail. It seems like you see it popping up on TCG Player and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we will have that at some point.
I really think just get used to a world where you just can't get the old sets. You just can't. I mean, that's
I need to.
That's a normal world in most card games.
That's the way they used to work. It's like it's special because you can't get it.
So
you got to find somebody who has it.
What's the people who play TCG's knowledge here? Because I've got maybe 4 boxes of beta left, and I'm nowhere near a playset.
Mm-hmm.
Should I open all those boxes
No.
and then buy singles so I know I have a playset? Or should I just hope that eventually I'll open those boxes and get a playset?
Zach, what would you do?
Help.
I think I would buy singles for the uniques that I really care about.
Okay. Because I can always sell the uniques later.
Here's your worst case scenario. Is that it sells out, they announce, hey, we're never printing this again.
Right.
And then it becomes very hard and expensive to get a lot of those cards. So if there are any cards, if there are any cards you really, really, really want, I personally, they're not expensive enough now for me not to get.
Right.
But that's a risk you can run.
Yeah.
If you decide to do it. But if you're enjoying opening the product over time, I would not lose out on that.
Well, I am enjoying it, but by the time I open all of it, I'll be like 45.
Yeah, you're a brewman too, and you've got a new set coming up.
That's right.
Man, Altria Investments, talk about an absolute wanker of a unique to get or elite.
Yeah.
No one's running that.
How about Magellan Globe?
It's actually,
I love that.
Maybe I should play Vestments.
Oh, grapple shot. Oh, got you a foil.
Yeah, I've got play sets of all the
Vest.
ordinary and exceptional. Well,
And you're a
maybe
deck
most
builder
of them.
type. Well, you got 4 boxes. You'll get the rest of it. Just heart of the cards, baby. How about Buried Treasure? That's another stinker right there.
You said you have play sets of ordinaries and exceptionals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got those.
Like
Got
I
those
said,
early.
are there any uniques you don't have that you would be devastated not to have? That was it.
This is the normal one, right?
As
Normal
I get
Fire Assassin?
weirder in my deck building.
Yes, that is normal.
Nah, bummer.
What rarity is it?
Elite?
Was it in the elite slot? That's
Yeah,
how
I
you
think
know.
so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because now I'm looking at stuff like Mask of Mayhem and stuff that I would never looked at before.
Well, you'll get the weird ones. The weird stuff you like will be cheap forever.
Yeah, good point.
But as an example, if you want, and I don't know that you do, a Philosopher's Stone,
Yeah.
and you don't have one, it's like if beta goes out of print and is announced out of print, that card is not going down.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
But it just kind of depends.
Yeah.
I mean, being able to play sealed for the next 4 years is
I
sick,
know,
man.
that's the thing, though.
And we do it. We actually do it from time to time.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Ooh, look, King of the Realm. Let's go. That's
I
a
love
fun
that
one. I'm
one.
going
I
to
have
build
that
around that one.
I would not just open them to open them. Now,
We could do a big weekend.
should you schedule a weekend to make use of them? Because here's the other, Arthurian Legends about to come out.
That's true.
So you're going to have the same
Yeah.
situation.
We just got our new editor into Sorcery as well.
That's a good
Play
one.
some sealed.
How about Foil Divine Healing and King of the Realm in the same pack?
Ooh.
3 Earth
Hold
Threshold
on, can
cards.
you show me that Divine Healing to the upstairs
Dude,
camera?
it looks
The
great.
upstairs.
It looks great. All right, you never really appreciate the way things look on screen. Are we going to get a super high def overhead at some point?
I don't know. Maybe.
I hope so. I want to see these things in full 4K.
4K Tevas.
Jonathan, you were a payload trebuchet guy, right?
Oh, dude, yeah, all day.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. You don't have to worry about prices of the cards. You do not have to worry, I assure you. You'll be just
That's
fine.
what that wins games.
This could be... There's no way.
Ooh, Angel Egg. I'm going to build something weird.
Dude. Angel Egg and Devil's Egg. Oh man,
Stock's gone up, hasn't it?
far.
See, these are my. You guys are playing my cards now.
Well, we're playing limited.
This is the beauty of limited, dog. Dude, I did open a Nimbus Gen, a Chaos Swisher, and an Ascalon Phoenix, which I'm happy about.
Oh, you got the Phoenix?
Yep.
Bummer.
And a First Team Paradise.
I haven't seen a single hard removal card yet. Need some berries.
Sounds like a bummer.
Need some berries.
Don't mind me. So if you're following along at home and would like some limited alpha beta advice, you just put all the water cards in a pile. Step 1.
You know what? You're right. I'm not even gonna. You're right about
Dude,
that.
who's that
Even
new,
I'm doing that.
Who's that new water guy that can freely moves in water?
Serpelius?
The buried treasure.
Well, the problem is every way it's just bad. It will forever be bad. You're spending a card and money to draw 2 cards. You're netting 1 card, and there's a lot of effort between here and there. So, like, drawing buried treasure instead of the card you're going to draw when you get buried treasure, it's a time problem. It's just a time problem. Maybe at some point it'll make a lot of sense. You can always make cards better by releasing other cards.
That's true.
Forever and always.
Some cards that's not true about, though.
Like you could have, for instance, Salty Old Fisherman. When this fisherman is atop a site that has a buried artifact, tap, pull up artifact, and double its effect.
There you go.
Like I already did it. So right there.
You're about to get hired too.
You're not careful, dog.
You got
You're
that
gonna be knocking on
fisherman
your
going. You
door.
get that sunken treasure. Now you've wasted 2 cards for 4, but it's still better. Still better.
Pretty cool though.
And you could fish out the angel's eggs and demon eggs from your opponent. You know.
So you can tell that David's thought about this.
David can do anything with this
Buried
game.
treasure should start the game in play at a random.
I like that.
We did that one time where you had a handful of artifacts with the early test print cards.
Yeah.
And it was like, hey, we're going to put random artifacts face down at different places. And when you go there, it might blow you up, but it also might be great.
Yeah.
Zach, can you tell me more about what happened to those early print cards?
Yeah. So they became worth a lot of money. So I put them on eBay. I'm just kidding. So there were over 500 of them in the booster box we opened. And I let everyone at the time on the team, there were 8 of us, keep 1 card.
That's right.
We kept 2 packs sealed, which we still have and don't have a use for yet, but we were going to discover that someday. And the rest of them, so still well over 500 cards, are currently randomly being packaged in, or they're going to be randomly packaged in Arthurian Legends shipments for subscribers. So if you're a subscriber and you're already charged, this moment has already passed. And I've seen people asking a lot of questions. You can no longer order Arthurian Legends through the subscription. If you sign up now, it's for set 3. We will have Arthurian Legends available by release, hopefully sooner than that, for ordering, and then they'll ship around release. But those are all randomly going to subscribers with the Arthurian Legends shipment. And I'm relieved because at the time we decided to do that, we thought Arthurian Legends was like 8, 9, 10 months away, or set 2 at the time. And the value of those things was unknown. And over time, they were just suddenly worth a lot. And it took a while for the set to come out. So just anxious all the time about, don't want something to happen to that because we made a promise. And this is not replaceable. There's not like an out here. So I will be relieved once those are in everyone else's hands. I'm also really excited. There's some people that had signed up for a subscription and had no idea that was even possible to happen, which is fun. And just seeing which ones people get and the reactions because there's cores in there. There's uniques that didn't end up making it into the actual set with art that still has not been used. There's all kinds of cards in there that are crazy.
Hey, I got some really cool build-around cards here. I got a Raytanis Titan and King of the Realm. Both 7 costs, really impactful cards, and a Divine Healing with 3 threshold. So I'm gonna ramp. And I've got Frontier Satellites and Land Surveyor to help me do that. Frontier in particular actually helps me do that. But then on the other side, check this out. I've got 2 Cone of Flame, which in limited is pretty good.
Look at this.
It's 1 per box, right?
What is?
Of the test cards?
So the promos are 1 per box. The test cards are randomly
1 chance per shipment.
1 chance per shipment.
Okay.
So a 1-box subscriber or a 12-box subscriber, as an example, would have an equal chance.
It's a progressive tax bracket. Everybody's got a shot. Regardless of your spend, you have the same shot.
That's right.
Getting
And
Got it.
No number of boxes gives you additional shots or chances to get multiples. We wanted to make sure as many different people got those as possible.
Tight.
Don't mind me. No, don't like that.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
You think Monastery Gargoyle is limited playable?
Yes. In fact, it's so limited playable, I will be playing it.
Seems very good.
I think I've got an idea. I'm gonna build a little theme Marino.
El Marino?
Yeah, Dan Marino. Ooh, this is gonna be fun. Okay.
Scarabs? Scarabs are always fun.
Well, scarabs are not fun for anybody, but they're there as they have to be. And cavalry is also. So we're gonna get cards in the conversation, but here's I've got an idea. I've got a theme. I'm gonna put these aside with all my water cards. Thank you, Eric. We're gonna run to the bathroom. Do you want to sparkling water?
Oh, yes. Dad. We just start calling each other Dad. That's hilarious.
Dad too? Do you want a sparkling water as well? Why are you too cool for sparkling water?
I don't like the carbonation. It makes my stomach hurt.
I adore that comment. Thunderstorm. Is that good enough?
Here's a personal question, Zach. Do you now sometimes refer to your wife as like mom?
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad was very against being called dad by our mom.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of endearing.
Yeah.
Like right now, I don't need to call her that because our baby doesn't understand anything.
Right.
But I'm still getting in that habit because I'm not going to be like talking to my daughter and say, hey, tell Serena this. I don't call my wife Serena ever. Yeah. So you either get pet name or mom, and mom becomes a pet name, right?
Right.
Yeah. Or your mother when you're in trouble.
I noticed it was like very easy for the nurses in the hospital when Joan was delivering because you just have to refer to anyone in the bed as mom. I was like, don't need another name.
Yeah.
Like, oh, how you doing, mom?
Hey, mom.
It's like, yeah, it's easy.
Smart. It's like when someone walks up like, hey, guy. Mm-hmm. It's like, you don't remember me, do you? Okay, so hold on. Quick refresher. 30 card deck? No, 25. It's 25, right?
I think we're building all the way to 60. I'm just kidding.
We will need more packs.
I'm sure you can convince Steven of that.
I
got a lot of people helping me out with this. Not like sparkling water.
Like that they also don't like it, or that you're normal?
The entire chat is with me, Steven.
About what? Not liking the carbonate? Oh, wait, you wanted one.
That's right.
I do too.
It's got me all.
Do you have a flavor?
That
also,
doesn't
the entire
matter.
chat is not with you. Sparkling water is like one of the most popular things on earth now. Along with seltzers, they were having a moment for a while, and then we kind of got tired of them.
Yeah. I mean, they just come with so many flavors. They're delicious.
Well, I mean, sparkling water is a great thing to do because soda kills you.
Yeah.
It kills you.
I got really into it when I was doing Invisalign because it made my mouth so dry. So when I would take my Invisalign out and I had like that beautiful 1 hour period without them in, it's like it was just crisp and refreshing. And like normally I drink water, like room temperature water, no ice. Mm-hmm. I don't like ice. Like I don't like ice. I don't know why.
I don't like
ice. Ned Flanders.
Sparkling is.
Do you want a particular flavor?
Doesn't matter.
Can I get you a beach plum? This is really good.
Yeah, sure. I'll explore the beach plum.
What I didn't realize is that there is a large portion of the population of humanity that just doesn't like the taste of water or gets tired of it. And I am not that. I could drink plain water all day forever.
Same.
So I don't need sparkling water.
Like I said, room temperature water.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Room temperature water, just straight up. No ice.
Man, I'm suddenly back in the thick of this thing.
You got beach plum. I've been waiting for this game my whole life, man. I had no idea. It's crazy.
Ooh, scarabs. Yes, we can. Si se puede.
It's like the feeling that I got when I first discovered TCGs is this. And somehow I get to keep having it.
Somehow here we are.
Palpatine has returned. Okay. Did I miss something? Did you take my stack? Oh, there it is.
Leaves and immediately accuses me of stealing.
Exceptional Mortal.
Beach plum. What do you think beach flavor is? Does it say?
No, I don't know, but it was pretty beachy.
And when you say, I've noticed this, naturally essenced. What do you think that means?
Honestly, I don't know.
It does taste beachy.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes more like something I would drink on a beach than the beach itself, which is a good thing. for those
So
keeping score at home.
So it does not taste like sand. Excellent.
Yeah, we have done it.
Good to know. Good to know.
Right, how many is this?
See, am I gonna play? I'm not gonna play Monastery. There's no way I have Monastery Gargoyle. Shieldbane's surprisingly good.
Are we playing with basic locations or basic? Like the new
Let's
draft
do the
kit?
new ones. Oh wait, we don't have the. I want to play with stuff I actually can see on the board. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
We could just make them like blank.
Because like
Earths.
technically these ones with abilities in the pack would be playable and
Mhm.
awesome if we were just assuming the rest of them were blank.
Yeah, true.
But
It would be awesome.
I don't really know how to do that.
It'd make fire a lot worse.
It would make water
All
a
of it.
lot better.
It'd make all of it a lot worse, actually.
Like part of the problem with water is you lose the basic land in the previous way of playing it.
True. Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, oh, that could have been an extra resource with air. Instead, it looked at a card. No shade.
All right, we'll just play. I mean, we should probably just play the old-fashioned way, right?
I'm happy to play the old-fashioned way.
Oh yeah, you're talking about playing the
Mhm.
yeah. Until we get the box, you know. It's
Right?
fine.
Yeah,
We'll play
I want to be able to see stuff. Okay, I'm going to be making a lot of foot soldiers.
Yeah, that's my kind of game.
I need to keep that in mind when I'm looking at the cards that I want to run.
Oh, it hurts.
Hey Zach, do you mind addressing this one?
Yeah, will we be selling our 3 Legends that aren't a subscription? We sure will. September is a crazy fulfillment month for us. Like all of our biggest games are releasing stuff kind of in a 2 or 3 week window. So the fulfillment crew over in operations have their hands full, and they're working through all this as fast as they possibly can. So the hope is that we will have that available to order at worst case by like the week of release, but maybe sooner as like a pre-order that ships in that same timeline. But yeah, we should definitely have it in stock, and it'll be available. And if you want to know when that happens, I'd recommend signing up for the community texting list. There's a link in the footer on the website. John might link it to you right now.
Also, Discord.
And then in the Discord channel, there's a channels and roles section where you can get notifications per game. So that's a really good way to just be alerted when something like that's happening.
What do you need me to share? The sorcery,
Just the text,
Our
phone
website.
number.
your personal phone number?
Yes, please. And the Discord channel link.
How many cards do we get?
I 25 minimum. But
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna send them to the part of the web page that has those things because of bot reasons.
yep.
I like it.
Great.
I have so many good cards.
Cool.
God.
You're a big fan of the Sirocco Scorpions, aren't you?
Oh, they're so good, man. So good. I'm also a big fan of Whirling Blades and Grapple Shot. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
These are things we like seeing.
Piercing projectiles got worse, yeah, because they start on your location now.
It sounds familiar.
No, that's just Iceland's got worse. Thank God. That thing was busted. First year location chat, just 3, 2, 1. I guess now it starts on your location and it's a projectile.
Did we ever conclude Highland Clansman being great or not great?
It's on the edge of great. I would run it. I'd run it right now. Especially because I got King of the Realm. I'm going to yoink it.
I have so many cards. Like, one of the weird things I have is I have a berry out of Earth with 3 Autumn Unicorns and a Pudge Butcher.
Yeah, don't run that.
The problem is my Earth pool of cards is basically that.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
3-4 kind of runs the game.
Just run the best cards.
Run the best cards.
That's what I've been told.
That's it. Yeah, I can't even run my skirmishers, if you can believe it. Because I got a way worse air pool than you just did Earth. What a pity.
What a pity.
Okay. So I do think I know what I'm up to. Draw a card. I kind of like Wayfaring Pilgrim. I don't know. I don't know why. I talked to Alex when I was at SorceryCon, and he liked Wayfaring Pilgrim a lot. And he's like an old Magic Pro Tour guy, and so it's like, you got to listen to those guys.
They know what they're talking about. I remember that in the early days of the spoils. It's like, how do you guys know all this? It's like, we've been playing the worst version of this game for a decade. Read the cards.
There's been a lot of spoils talk on our Discord recently.
Spoils is great. It has its problems thematically, but the system is great.
I like the way you put that.
It was targeted to like middle school boys because that's what was playing TCGs really at the time.
It was targeted to me of like the game willing to go where Magic wasn't.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes problematically.
Sometimes. Is 25 the minimum or the max and minimum? You know what I mean?
I don't know if it's max.
Just slap it in there. Slap at the base, man.
It's minimum. You can always make your deck worse.
Look at this beauty that I opened.
Ooh, that is beautiful.
That's Oasis?
Pristine Paradise.
That's so good. Whoa. This
That
is great.
flavor?
Which one's this?
It's a lime Costco.
Kirkland.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, Kirkland's
Sponsored by Robert Johnson. On the panel. Loves his Costco.
That's the best. Hey, for real, that's the best place to get formula that I've found. When you guys move over to formula, if you want
I've been living in formula
for very cheap,
dude,
that's the way to go.
Isn't it a lot of anything for very cheap and the whole game?
That is the whole
But
shtick.
formula is one of the things.
The due to delivery complications, we ended up on the formula train, which is a blessing in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
it means I can be a lot more helpful. But we were running the math the other day on daily cost of formula.
it's crazy.
Come on.
It's crazy.
Come on.
Again, this is like
Sell more
how
fan cards.
How are they allowed to do that? I
Well,
don't know. But
I have learned it's one of the most regulated things on the planet, which is part of what makes it expensive.
that makes sense.
In terms of what can be sold, the inspections, the amount of time it can be on the shelf, even.
Yeah.
It's like like if a place like Target has out of date formula on the shelf, the fines and penalties that are associated with it are just astronomical.
Wow.
Yeah. Turns out.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You got that going for it.
You can imagine why that's the case.
But yeah. Once do your recalculate once you figure out how much the Costco one is. That was a lifesaver for us.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely bewilderingly crazy. Between that and diapers, it's just like get out of here. Could always do cloth diapers, you know.
See you later.
I'm doing cloth.
I'm going to get some land.
It's not hard, actually. I'm surprised.
Yeah,
You
I'm glad to hear that.
You'd have to do some laundry.
You just have to start. I think.
Well, and it gets harder because she's not solid yet.
Yeah.
And that's when it's going to be like, ugh, I'm too close to this.
I got used to
process.
it pretty quick,
Yeah.
honestly. Never really an issue.
I definitely have taken a break from sorcery because I'm building something that's weird and not good. I'm not following my principles at all. It's just weird. It's just worse.
I mean, I see a lot of cards that I like over there.
I mean, common sense, right? It's good. It's just so boring. You know, I just don't.
Boring.
I don't want to waste time looking at it. Even though, yes, it can go fetch me the minor explosion that I need, or like go get the King of the Realm, or
Right.
not. I can't get that at all. But minor explosion and ogre goons, go get a body, you know, that kind of thing. But what I'm thinking,
you hate card for a card stuff.
I do, but I just hate tutors
Yes.
because I don't like winning.
Right.
I don't want to shuffle my deck. I'm over shuffling. I want to shuffle it once, and then I want to play. Here's the thing, though, Jonathan. You'll appreciate this.
Mm-hmm.
So my game plan. Let me give you a narrative. This is what good players do. They give you a narrative of how they're going to win the game with the deck they're building. You have to have that plan. So my narrative is I'm going to ramp into some really explosive, powerful cards in the end
Literally
game.
explosive.
Ratanus Titan, King of the Realm, 2 Cone of Flames.
All I know is that Cone of Flames wins games.
Yeah, and 2 of them wins them twice.
We win 2 games with that.
You know, so I need to get here quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way that I get there, the way that I build my ramp is Frontier Settlers is an actual ramp card. Land Surveyor is a fake ramp card, but it works. Alpine Dryads, clear ramp card.
Ooh, we're going with the Dryad.
So we got the Dryad. Well, we got the mana. We got to get to 7 as quickly as we can get. Okay, so we like that. So then we say, well, wait a minute. What are we going to do in the early game before we get to 6 or 7 mana?
Yeah, good question.
And so that's where I'm thinking I got to play at least 3 earth sides. So I'm going to go heavy earth, and I'm going to second into fire. And then I've got a bunch of these fire spells that are just designed to make the game go longer. Minor explosions, wildfires, some direct removal cards. And then since I'm going to have so many foot soldier tokens, I'm going to throw in the Drums of Doom, give all my foot soldiers lethal, paired with border militia to get me even more foot soldiers. And then I just got these lethal foot soldiers rolling around. Right?
There you go. It's right in itself.
And then on top of that, you got your classics. So Slumbering Giantess in a deck with fire is obvious. Shield Maiden's Immortal that comes in. So if I got King of the Realm, it's going to come in at 3/3.
That's good.
It's also going to take 1 less damage. We got some classic Cave Troll, Boss Troll. Velvet Longbowman at 3/4 with King of the Realm would be sick. And then our fire pool is standard stuff. Just your Ogre Goons, Violence, Scorpions, Scarabs, things that are going to make the game go long. And then at the end, I'm just going to go boom, boom, cone, cone, and then he's going to be dead.
He's out of here. Yeah.
He's out. He's right out.
That works for me.
And I'm going to play Wayfaring Pilgrim because I want to.
There you go.
I went and got a bunch of these.
Those are sides.
Yeah, you'll need them.
Nice.
I am playing all the best cards from Earth, Fire, and Air.
24 cards.
If you'd like to see more about my draft strategy, we have a video about it.
And we need a 25th card.
You're in trouble, Zach.
gonna be
Justin
Mad
said
Dash.
that Steven has a good deck.
Well, that's half the equation.
Oh!
I mean, we've all played Justin, though, so...
Oh! Ouch!
We got him, ladies and gentlemen.
Burns left, Burns right.
Bird, he's going. He's could go all the way. 10, 90. Did you watch any football this weekend?
No.
Man, I'm so happy that football's back. I gotta tell you,
Me
it's just
too.
it's the weather changed.
I'm more
and
into it than
football
ever.
came on the air.
You think it's a dad thing?
I'm getting into college stuff now, more than ever. It used to be just OSU because I went
Yeah.
there, but now it's like I'm kind of trying to get into the...
I did
You
watch
see
the
Notre Dame?
highlights from the game where Notre Dame.
I watched that game, dude.
There's that if you need.
How about that? That was crazy. They got beat by like a team that is basically like the Chelsea High JV.
Do you want to play on a mat or not?
Yeah, Matt.
Matt.
Ooh, someone's
Notre
bringing up
Dame got
big
beat by
guns.
Northern Illinois. Right? You've never heard of Northern Illinois. And
No.
then they beat them. It's awesome.
I was just slowly entering the frame. This thing.
I don't know what happened, but I've got to the point in my life where I like to have like light sports ambience on the TV. In the
Yeah, that white
background.
noise is sick, man.
Yeah,
I think it probably happened around 2019.
yeah, you think so?
Yeah, man, it's dad mode.
Yeah,
Nothing
that's
more
true.
dad than
And we got into it hard because we
Sports.
watched the Olympics like crazy. We did it up this year.
I feel like you've always been kind of an Olympic guy, though, right?
No, that was Leah. That was my wife.
You're a Eurovision guy.
I'm a
and
Eurovision
Olympics is
guy.
like not a strong leap from there.
It's international competition.
Yeah,
They
it's
don't let
like-
America in Eurovision.
It's actually, I don't know how close that is.
How does this look on the top now?
Look at that.
That's pretty close.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
wanna go
nice.
the other way?
Get
There
that
you go.
guideline.
Mm.
I guess it's literally a guideline.
Oh, wow.
I've never seen it.
Torres.
Torres, Northern Illinois.
You
Hey,
own it?
Great.
Man.
We got him, dude. He didn't use the right. He said it in a way that was maybe wrong. Hey, that's awesome. I mean, congratulations. The coach afterwards was super emotional, crying about it. It was lovely. Just to see, I'm just ready to see people be good again.
I will say, you're talking about weird content getting into. It's not particularly weird, but Lily's getting not brand new baby anymore, so she's moving a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you're like feeding her, she can turn her head a lot better and stuff.
Yeah.
So the effort to engage with her now is higher. So I wanted to put something on that would be on when I could pay attention, but I didn't have to completely pay attention to all the time.
Classic.
So I've been rewatching Ted Lasso,
Millennial.
which is one of my favorite shows of all time. Not even close. That show is really good. You're talking about the coach crying and stuff. And it's like, there's an episode the other day. I didn't cry, but it's probably the closest I'll get to crying.
If you cried, I would have made fun of you. That's not what guys do.
Lucky for me, I'm not much of a crier.
Really? I've been crying more as I get older.
Having a child will mess you up too.
I think also, aren't we supposed to lose testosterone as we get older? That's what I've always heard. So it's like a natural process. So we just get less crazy.
You've been hearing that on like the country music station.
No, I'm not talking about restore your like vitality.
Those targeted YouTube videos,
like 1
dog.
out of 3.
It's like, talk about hero becoming the tyrant. My gosh, Jonathan, so many of these ads are just like, would you like to be 18 again? It's like, no. I'm approaching 40. I'm becoming tender.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a tender old man.
It.
I have an emotional life now.
Mm-hmm.
I've transcended my Scottish roots. Okay. Anyway, wouldn't you like to hear an ad for you want to get together and talk about sentimental things and watch Hachiko? Come on down to the clinic.
I'm going to be honest. I hate ads.
Hey,
Period.
would you sleeve your decks?
You really want me to?
Yes.
Okay. Happy to do it. I was genuinely asking.
What's your favorite color?
Yeah, I need 2 colors though.
Okay. I'll do the inverse of what you don't want. Does that make sense? I said it wrong, but I think you understand. What's the other color you want? Orange? How about orange and yellow? Let's just really make it
beautiful.
Make it horrid. So you can choose. Okay, you've chosen already. You've chosen to go library in that one. So you'll do Atlas in orange, and then I'll do Atlas in yellow. And also, I'm tough.
Yeah,
I'm still
you're
tough.
a tough guy. You're a tough.
I got a 22. I'm a tough guy.
I'm not a tough guy, but I don't cry. I don't not cry very often out of desire.
You're just dead inside. Just a little dead inside.
Just enough.
Enough to be a good CEO, which we appreciate.
You have to be a little dead inside.
I can't react to all this.
Do you ever just
This is why we stream, by the way. It's for this starting now is anyone who's still here.
You've made it through the 2.5 hour hurdle.
You are the people that we stream for. God bless you.
Also, in case it wasn't clear, yellow is my least favorite color.
Yes,
Oh wait, hold on.
Oh hey,
these aren't exactly yellow.
make sure you have your favorite color on lock because it's going to become real important soon.
Did I just yeet
As
in
a
my
child,
sights?
there's only a certain number of things they care about, and favorite color is really high up.
It's your favorite color, Dad?
Yeah, yellow's my favorite color.
Yeah, second only.
I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that favorite color conversation right there.
My son has 3 favorite colors.
Oh well, you clearly failed as father because that's logically
is one of
rationally impossible.
Black, red, and blue.
Did you not teach him about superlatives, Jonathan? He's gonna be so confused the rest of his life. He thinks he can have multiple bests. It's impossible.
That's my best friend. That's my best friend. That's my best friend.
Well,
Heaven
all
forbid.
The kids are doing that now. All the kids in preschool, they're all best friends. Which I guess is not a bad thing.
Yeah, it could be worse.
It's only bad if you care about meaning and the definitions of words.
Yeah.
Not like meaning grand, but meaning of words.
I still can't correct him when he calls instruction manuals the constructions. It's like
adorable. No, don't.
Cute.
Please
It's
don't.
too cute. You keep going there.
Alex Becker in the chat also. I haven't talked to Alex in a meaningful way in a long time, which is wonderful. It's been great.
Azalea became tier 1. You guys were out.
No, I should be talking to him more. I thought about that literally last night, and then I didn't do anything about it. I almost
It's
texted
tough,
you, Alex.
though.
I almost messaged you on Discord, but
It is so tough in general, but particularly in the throes of figuring out how to be a dad / parent / in that situation. Erden asking if we're paying any attention to Altered. We had a conversation on stream a while back about it. Not really.
we should be paying more attention. I'm watching it. I'm just kind of watching it.
I'm in the same, but just personal taste thing. I could not get past the QR codes, so I was just sort of uninterested.
You couldn't get past the QR codes, and you were about to have a child, so
Yes.
it's kind of a...
Yeah, but I'm loosely aware of things happening.
I think I'm really. I'm certainly this way before we left for the break, but I'm more ready than ever to just take a stand against almost all technology. Because it feels good for my career path too. Because tabletop is perfectly suited That's like get your QR codes away from my tabletop games. I don't want to digital anything. I didn't even cash my dust in just now. If you want me to cash it in, I want to mail it to you, like we used to, Zach. Back in the old days.
You really are almost 40, aren't you?
And everything was perfect.
I'm. You're aware of this. Long-term proponent of social media.
Yeah,
as a concept,
it's one of our greatest
you haven't
points
learned
of
your
friction.
lesson yet?
What do you say?
You haven't learned your lesson yet? It's okay to be wrong.
I'm about to admit that,
Oh,
Jonathan.
Good. Okay, good. Sorry.
No, I think it went somewhere that is not what it used to be, or what it could have been, or what it promised to be. And we talked about this before the break. That was our last stream before the break. But at some point, it just is all this whole digital life thing. It's just meaningless.
It went wrong.
Yeah.
It's almost like when you build a tabletop TCG and then everybody just min-maxes it until it sucks.
What do we do?
And then they're like, help, Mark Zuckerberg. And he's like, I don't know, you keep buying the cards.
Do you see Larry's comment?
No. Not a fan of this take.
Lead developer there.
Tech guy Larry Carter.
Can we build technology that keeps people from using other technology?
Well,
hey, I don't know if you guys saw
exactly
this, but US Cellular
two cards.
now has a US mode
Yeah.
that you can use it to turn your phone off. Something like that.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy?
Nobody's going to do that.
You can just turn your phone off.
Yeah, but people can't.
Nobody's going to do it, man. Nobody's going to do it. It's got to be a fundamental. We've all got to stop at the same time.
I mean, so I was having this conversation a lot about
I don't know why I'm doing this.
about AI stuff.
AI.
And one of the cool things that we've seen with crypto is a technological advancement that the world just said, no, we're not doing it. And that hasn't happened in a long time.
It's not that we're not doing it, it's that we haven't done it yet. Eventually we'll all be living in Cryptopia, where we can exchange money in the same ways we are now.
But with
just with a lot
more
more
energy, yeah.
lot more
energy used.
No, they'd argue with that. I mean, there's a lot of there's enough ammo to talk about why it's good that you can do it.
Just so we're clear, Bitcoin is at near all-time highs.
That's fine.
In terms of price
That's
/
fine.
value /
But
utilization.
what does that represent? It just represents people thinking it might be valuable at some point.
Yeah.
I'm
Speculators.
Speculation, dude.
with you. I'm just saying
It's really expensive.
the idea that we have just rejected it isn't quite true, because
back when I was
clearly
more-
something's going on.
Yeah,
Back when I was more on the internet, they were talking about, a couple more years you'll be able to buy a pizza with Bitcoin.
you can't buy a pizza. Somebody can buy a pizza with Bitcoin.
Someone can buy
it's
a
already
pizza
happened
somewhere. Yeah.
I know that's happened. It was like a
Well,
famous thing.
I think
But why?
as I get older, it's the recognition that things change quickly, but most things change way slower than you expect.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Even in tabletop, we've been doing this for like 17 and a half years. And if you had asked me 17 years ago how much different tabletop would look in 17 years,
Yeah.
I would have said it is way different, but I would have said like, going to the moon different, like very, very different.
Well, there've been some attempts at the digital tables and stuff like that, but it's not.
Remember that one that
caught.
Simon was
I
doing?
don't want it.
Yeah.
It was right before the pandemic. It was
just
that last
don't
Gen
want
Con before the pandemic. They had that table.
Mm-hmm.
Like something brew. What was it called? That just disappeared.
Tableroo.
It was like
Yeah.
Oburu. It was like, something.
Yeah, it was that. Yeah. Lane was talking about that.
Yeah.
But I think the fundamental mistake in all of this is people think that it's the game that matters. That as long as people can play the game together, it doesn't matter how they do it, as long as they can do it. It's like, no.
How matters.
Actually, the game matters actually
Yeah.
way less. And us being here right now, sleeving cards and me taking 1,000 years to get ready to play is the game.
Yeah.
This could be any game, really.
And all the interactions and conversations with us and people out there.
It's particularly
in the
good.
meantime.
That's this one. But I would do this with about anything that you put in front of me,
Hey, don't forget the new mulligan rules.
which is
Only
only
three.
3 total, right?
Yeah.
How did you do on your mulligan?
2. We should even or odd first, but I'm mulligan 2.
How did you do?
Oh, I did great.
Mm.
You want even? I know what you want. You want even.
We're not supposed to look at our hand, right?
Yeah, we're not. But it was odd.
But did you look at your hand?
I did. Yeah. You can choose whether you go first or second because I peeked. I wasn't thinking. I'll also lend you a d20 if you want.
I think I want to go second. Right? Is that? Are we supposed to choose one? Is there one that's have the kids run the numbers or?
Oh, I'm sure. I had an opinion at Sorcery.
I want the second. I want the card. I want the gold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to choose one of these beautiful dice?
Yeah. We can like roll this one. This one's
Okay, great.
fun.
That's perfect.
Yeah. I'm not that into blue to know an inferior die when I see one.
It's like, these are made of stone. This is made of plastic. You choose. You choose.
Where do we keep these?
I just keep them somewhere down here.
Down there. Oh yeah, we got a lot in the frame there. Nobody can see that number probably anyway unless they're on their TV. How many of y'all are watching this on a TV right now?
If they were, they can't comment.
Side question: how many of you are employed?
The better question is, how many people are not watching on a TV right now? Because they could probably actually interact with this.
Well, I can chat on a TV. I have it on my phone, but I watch it on the TV.
Yeah, I can do that now.
I do that all the time.
Technology.
Justin, the dice that I love is Wormwood.
That's right.
It's a weird,
super nice
it's an
dice.
interesting way of structuring that sentence. Just saying. We're back, baby.
What would be a better way to structure the sentence?
Actually, thinking about using it as R, it actually sounds worse. The dice that I love are wormwood. The dice that I love is wormwood.
Did I say is?
Yeah. But dice isn't it singular as well?
I think it's am. The dice that I love am wormwood.
I is Wormwood. They are Wormwood.
Oh, man. 3 Chelsea high schoolers, 3 different takes.
So the show, Serena and I both had shows that we would have on or watching independently during the phases thing. So sometimes you catch part of those shows because it's like, oh, I woke up and it's on. So one of the shows that she would randomly have on was Nashville.
Okay.
Country music, country thing.
Put that together.
I noticed the more that was on and the more I was not seeing other people, my roots,
you go back.
My roots are coming back.
Oh, that's right there, dude. That's right there.
Yeah.
I'm getting my car worked on. It's all coming back. It's all coming back. DB comes over and helps with that tractor.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm prepared. Okay, we get 3
Most
cards.
people are watching their TV and typing on their phone.
That's what I'm saying.
So wait a second. Are they double viewing?
Yeah. Well,
Can you like it twice?
You can do that now on YouTube. You can.
So,
you can,
okay. Like it supports
you're
it.
casting it to your phone, but it's still on your thing. David's watching on his refrigerator.
I don't.
Oh, you have the flap. Oh, I'm sorry, man.
You're like making fun of me for taking the flap.
You got short into that one.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we need? This is a part of my strategy. This card I don't need right now.
Frank, very happy about the Wednesday switch. Saying, I'm listening to you in here right now, but on Wednesdays I'll be able to watch on the TV.
And I can only do 3 total. Oh, that actually is a meaningful change. I do like that change.
The 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes you have to make a more powerful choice.
Yeah. Okay. Let's think. Doot. Oh, I see. That's kind of hard. Yeah, that's fine.
The Jazz Club headphones should
That's
come
good,
back.
dudes.
Bring that back.
I did like that.
Yeah.
I liked the pacing and peace that it forced in my own self during those games.
Yeah, it's nice. I like that one.
I'm just going to take a sensory pause here.
What did we get? Hey, those are good cards.
You ready to ball?
Yeah, let's ball, dude.
I'm attempting to play basketball again for the first time since having a baby tonight. We were doing Monday nights for a couple months before that happened. So we'll see how that goes. Depends on how I'm feeling and how the day went. And my mother-in-law's supposed to come over, but sometimes she doesn't. Et cetera, et cetera. All right, I'm gonna.
Is there anything about your birthing experience that would make you worse at basketball? Just the fact that you haven't moved in a while?
Definitely that. And also just general levels of physical tiredness and mental.
Yeah. And mental.
Yeah, but that goes back to the priority thing where it's like, oh, all of a sudden it's like, well, I'm not going to play basketball tonight because I don't have the juice to do this, and also I can't leave you alone in this situation.
That's another one to remember is once you start to get the time, try to do some exercising or some stretching because like you're going to be your child's playground for a while.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep that
I mean, you have girls, so I don't know how that whole system works, but like my son will
I think it's just
tackle me
easier.
out of the blue.
That's what everybody says.
Tell the teenagers. I'll play a rustic village and summon a foot soldier. Pass to you. Oh,
Did you draw?
No.
Good.
I love this game.
It's
Yeah,
so
me too,
good.
man. I love
Like just seeing that rustic village art pop up and seeing it's just like
I love this game, and I love teaching this game to people
Hmm.
because like their eyes light up. It's the best. It's the best.
Fascinating. Very good. You got a little token for me?
yeah. What do you need? Little man.
I'll give you a guess. Yeah.
There's a couple just in case.
Thanks. Yeah, I actually probably need a lot of these.
Yeah, I'm bringing them.
Play Rustic Village.
I'm gonna
drop
act
Foot Soldier.
Like
Let's
I
go.
don't have the knowledge that you have a King of the Realm
No, I don't.
in existence.
Can you imagine? I just kill all those Foot Soldiers and they get +1, and then I just wreck you.
Over to yours truly.
Tail of the Tate. Yeah.
Yellow. Beautiful. Strange.
You put those in there,
Mm-hmm.
and that's your
So that won't matter. All right.
Anchorworm. What's going on? Did we talk to Anchorworm yet? I can actually talk to the chat now.
I have not talked to Ingram yet.
Arthurian Legends order process, TC Live, lots of feelings for 4:30.
Yeah, people are getting their shipping notices. Or
I
their,
love it.
Tracking numbers.
Love it. Yeah, we're moving right through it. It's gonna be an absolute beautiful experience on release week. We will be the best tabletop gaming retailer in the world if we're not already.
In that moment or period?
A period, man, because so many people miss the fundamentals. They just miss it. They get
What?
distracted by shiny objects.
A lone tower. Then I'm gonna play Palaberry Bats Burrowed.
Pretty cool.
Just in case
That's pretty cool.
things happen. Pass to you.
Thanks.
Frank said he got tracking today. Yeah, it's a fine line. Try to generate tracking and start that process as late as possible, but we also want to get shipments out to people as soon as possible. Because it gets complicated. Like if at this point you decide I want to change my address, it gets much harder when we're in the middle of fulfillment.
Are there any decisions that I would need to make now? We'll go spellbook.
Hangerworm, so real. I'm looking around for room to open boxes. Might have to swipe some Warhammer models on the floor. I didn't know you were a Warhammer guy, Hangerworm. How long you play Warhammer? Let me rephrase that. How long have you purchased and assembled models for Warhammer? And
Dang, man.
spent time
Brutal.
setting up boards to take them down and go home.
Brutal.
Thank you, David.
All right, Mr. Sorcerer.
Yeah, David, listen to this. You guys are amazing. I bought over 22 boxes of beta over the span of 6 months. All orders were perfect. Can't wait for our third Legends. I will say speed and accuracy are two keywords for our fulfillment. We want to get it out quickly and just make sure you're doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere says 20 years, give or take. Woo! If you had to estimate how many total games you've played in 20 years of Warhammer, what would you say it is? If you can ballpark it. So casual. Dang. Got him.
I'll tell you dropped the mic, Zach.
Yeah, I know the truth. At some point, I don't know when this switched, but in the Internet of Things, people stop saying persona when they're talking about like groups of customers or audience, and they start saying avatar. I don't know when that. Like, it's very peculiar to me.
It's not good.
I've seen that way more commonly, but I've seen so many miniatures players, and I've been that player. It's like so much time assembling, painting, or thinking you're going to paint, or trying to paint. and then set up like the number of actual games played to the rest is crazy. It's a wild hobby. And Nurgle Probe saying you can play Warhammer. This is assault. But that's the point. That hobby, like playing, is actually so secondary or thirdary that
That's why it's such a successful genre.
yeah,
dude.
it's amazing.
It gives you so much to do without having to go out and find the other person to play with. When you do, though, man, it's great. You find the one guy who's like on the same wavelength.
Ben
Meet
Puffer says, I might need more bulk boxes for Arthurian Legends. I'm curious, if you say more, how has your experience been with them so far? I'm a huge
Oh, you
fan,
can
but
go.
I'm
Sorry.
biased.
Sorry.
Oh.
I moved over here to the stall spot and played a Scorpo.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, let's just draw a location. Cool. Let's play this. Oops. I'm going to play a remote desert here, and I'll choose that. Beautiful piece of land.
You got it.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Let's see what I'm working with here. One of each. Amazing.
Look, he just did it. He
Crazy.
ran the rainbow.
Just the number of... at SorceryCon, there were a couple games where I would do that, play 3 colors and 3, and they're like, ooh, you're playing 3 colors. And it's like, that's really lucky that you... And it's like...
It's just ratios, man.
I don't know.
But if
not
you
that
doubled the...
It's way riskier.
Then it's, yeah.
Yeah, well, particularly when you're mulling 3. So we're dealing with very small Atlas decks, particularly in draft. And then you mulligan 3. It's like your odds are so good.
True.
Let's play the Scarabs here.
That's annoying.
And these guys
Stan burrowed, huh?
will move.
Well, what if I flood the site?
In the in the words of Lumiere, be our guest. I almost said tertiary earlier, David, and then I decided third dairy just sounded better.
All right, start of the thing. We'll do the thing.
Side note, if you're a miniatures player, there was no offense meant.
Sorry.
As someone with piles of miniatures, I just relate. And I didn't want to be alone in that. Gray models that are partially painted that never see the table.
Keep digging. Dig on out of that one.
Ben Puffer saying, honestly, it took a few to get the assembly rhythm, but I have a Calyx shelf basically full now. That's awesome. If you're on our Discord channel particularly and so inclined, I would love for you to post a picture of that and tag me. Just love to see it. I'm planning on converting my entire card collection at some point. Been a little busy, but I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
To have like the before and after of what that looks like.
Oh, Drew's here. He just caught up.
Hey, congrats on the promotion, man. I hope you're making $1 million. I'm gonna kill the scarabs. Hey.
How'd you kill him?
Desert.
Does the Deathrite kill that?
No, I don't think so. What does it say?
Deal 3 damage to each unit here. Here being is it the region?
Here's region, yeah. If it says location, if it said at this location.
By the way, that is exactly one thing that after playing like 2 games of Sealed, you're like, oh yeah, don't put one of things anywhere near your opponent. It's crazy.
Yeah, and we already forgot, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't.
How quickly I forgot.
I use we kind of.
I was too busy burning the miniature players out there to be worried about burning you.
Okay, so we got 3 manas.
Corlash. You say that like that's an easy lift. It says just try to dedicate 1 hour a day and you'll have fully painted armies in no time. Hour a day, at least in my current state.
Right now, you're in the I don't know.
Not that.
Not to that.
I'm gonna move Scorpo up. I'm gonna play some druids here.
Ooh,
Dryads
you got
there.
him at.
And I'm gonna pass to you.
Look at all that mana he's got.
I got 4 mana.
You got 4 mana.
Mana for
3
days.
sites and 4 mana. How does that even work?
Don't kill this thing, please, because I want the mana. That's why I put it in there.
How am I going to achieve that?
I want the mana.
I could almost achieve that.
This reminds me a lot of the
Ooh, I
first
could
time I
achieve
saw was it Shifting Sands, the ones that you can do the Genesis effect again. I was like, oh yeah, my guys are safe.
He can't desert me. I know that, so that's worth something.
Yeah, that's something.
You have to work for it. I mean, you have to spend a card on it. It's fine. Especially got to move the Sorcerer up. Then it's like, that's really fun. Taking away land? Come on. He won't do it. Unless I keep taunting him. Like you did to those gosh darn miniatures players.
Sometimes a burn is too good not to do. Okay, we're going to go up to 5.
Oh, you get
Mana.
mana the old-fashioned way.
And then... make sure this works.
You're going to unbury it and then do the little grapple shot?
Move it up. Then we're going to Whirling Blades.
Oh!
I'm going to go
That's really good.
and strike everything along the way.
It's
I
bad.
mean, I spent a Whirling Blades for it,
You did. Yeah, that's...
so that's a thing.
It could be worse.
Let's start... let's leave them there.
You must unlearn
Over
what you
to
have
you.
learned.
Yeah, over there. Yeah, it's like stuff. I mean, technically, you can put a desert here and get them, so it doesn't really matter.
All right, so I'm back down to 3 mana. This messes with our plan.
Bellissimo.
Okay. Not a problem. Not a problem. Not a problem. I got 3, so that would be 4 and then 5. Tracks. All right, so let's draw. And what we're going to draw... How's this board going to look? I've been watching a lot of chess games on YouTube.
Now we're getting to the real...
Like not
real stuff.
Like I'm at a point with chess where I know enough to be curious and just kind of be able to watch a game and enjoy it, but not enough to really like be like, oh, that was genius or whatever. Watch a lot of the Carlos Magnuson games.
I hear he's okay.
It's just kind of fun to watch these guys play. They're so bored with it because it's so linear that it's got to be blitz. They got to play like 2-minute games or it's just like waste of time.
Yeah, it's like, can you fire your memory fast? Is the test. Not that's ultimately the feeling I was talking about earlier when you grind Fab long enough that like you start to get to, even with the variance in Fab, which has way more variance than chess, you sort of get to that level of like, you know what's going to happen before it happens, and if they have the thing or not, and then that's kind of the one thing that happened.
We're going to draw a spell for the turn.
But it's a lot to get to that moment.
Okay, let's play a site.
I've made some mistakes.
And where are we going to play it? See, I don't really like you being there. Let's go ahead and play here. Well, no. Nope, see, I already don't like it. Let's play here.
Yeah. I can still get there. If I play a site here.
All right, we'll do it here. I'm going to save my dudes,
That one's harder to get to, yeah.
I'm going to save my dudes. And then we'll go...
Hashtag save my dudes.
So I've got 3 mana. I'm going to just do a Violimp and kill this thing.
That doesn't work that way. Because I don't like it.
Yeah, that's right. I'll pass to you.
Okay. Okay. Let's try here. Not good.
I feel like we should have a disclaimer at the opening of the show, just like the views expressed here are not the views of the organization. But it's just kind of hard. It's hard because, I mean, you know, like
What view were you going to express?
Well, none. I'm just thinking like.
Maybe I shouldn't ask that.
Well, it's more like that's just disingenuous when anybody says that.
Well, the problem, it's a strength and a weakness of our position in that we're a tiny company. And we're 2 founders of the company who've been doing this forever. So like
the company is the people, though.
Yeah, but the company technically a company is just a group of people doing something, and it doesn't have views,
right?
As an entity,
right?
A lot of brands try to create an entity that's a real entity, but for us at the company, there's really no separation. That just can't be.
Yeah.
But
We gotta
You
talk
see
to
that
the
all the
board
time
about that.
when there's like a Twitter account. It's like views here, my own,
Mm-hmm.
etc.
You're still gonna decide how the work gets done, though, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, snap. Don't like it. We have a problem.
Justin called it. He said Steven had the deck.
Let's
Well, Zach went
exhaust
on his
here
little
and draw a
sabbatical, and then he forgot how good I am at everything.
That's right.
let's go Mad Dash. Draw
My
a
favorite
card.
He does do all this kind of stuff, though. He does all the weird stuff.
And
Who's
then
Dash?
give an ally +1 movement.
Okay.
And then
Are you about to drop a desert foot soldier situation on my imp? What are you doing?
no, I'm not. I'm just drawing cards and filtering.
It's a brutal honesty.
It's true. He's gonna move twice here. And then
Not attacking. Just moving.
that's my site.
Oh, right.
I would love to attack.
I block with the imp. That'd be okay.
Yeah. And then I'll pass to you.
Wow. Great.
Wow.
I just string that one together.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it was bad. I drew my card and it was the Mad Dash, and it was like,
Dang, man.
that's not gonna
Actually,
do
I
it.
actually feel bad about that.
We are second cycle. They're back.
All right, I'm going to draw a sight. Got to keep the ramp going.
Oh no, yeah, we actually struggled against this for a minute. Saying personification of business is weird to me. Where you start talking about like brand voice and the brand posting, etc. And it's really a strange one. As particularly, I feel like social media became way more and more centered around individuals and people.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like you follow a basketball player, you don't follow the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
And on it goes, because like, who's even posting for the Bulls?
Yeah.
Now it's useful because they can post highlights and schedules and things, but trying to be like, oh, this is Benny the Bull's account.
Right.
It's like that's just a costume.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Well, also there's that. I don't remember the line exactly, but that
Thanks,
was the
second
most
cycle.
scathing commentary from the. Oh gosh, what's his name? The guy that did the pandemic comedy show that was real popular for a while.
Bo Burnham?
Yeah, Bo Burnham. Whereas like
That's so
you know
good.
Pringles take on race or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah, Bugles.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Let's stop pretending these are
I'm not looking for that.
personified entities.
Not looking for that. Let's play a thing here and make a dude. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mhm.
Minus 1 for the
Mhm.
guy. It's 4. We're going to swing into your foot soldier, I suppose.
Okay.
We're going to play some goons. We're going to move some foot soldiers.
I love the goons, man.
And then we're going to pass.
Okay.
My deck winning narrative involved me losing early and winning late.
That's how that gets you.
So I guess it's nothing but good.
Tap here, play Pristine Paradise.
It's sick. I'm gonna have to go sit on that one. I'm gonna have to get there, man.
Tell me this.
Theoretically.
Theoretically, projectiles, they start on your space
Yeah.
now?
But they can skip an ally on that space.
One ally.
Yeah.
So if he were shooting or someone else who were shooting it, they could skip each other,
I think so. Yeah.
hypothetically.
Yeah.
All right.
But then it hits the first thing it sees.
Yeah, I'm going to play a Pledge Betrayal
There we go.
here.
Okay.
And then I'll pass to you.
You're in danger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have any like direct removal here, so I actually am in danger. You just gotta like get out of the way.
I put him there. I actually wouldn't have put him on this space if I didn't have the Pristine Paradise, because he can just clear that space for me over and over if you do get something over there.
Yeah, true. Truly.
That was my grand plan.
Big brain.
I mean, I've cooked that strategy for weeks.
I used to have a nice little combo with Pudge Butcher dragging people through walls of fire, but then it just didn't happen enough. And multiplier just wasn't good.
Like,
Yeah, it turns out
strategy.
I
that
learned a
wall
lesson.
could have been a lot of other cards.
I learned a lesson that day.
Second cycle saying, Zach, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good is Vis eating with the new Rosetta cards? 10. It's an 11. This one goes to 11. It's crazy. It's all the things we've always wanted. I was a little sad Cash In got banned, but it makes sense. Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
They banned basically every card that said draw cards on it.
Oh,
Cash In, Tome of
that'll
Fyendel,
do it, won't it?
Tome of Divinity. Like, just keep going. The wizard one that draws cards that they always instant off the top.
That's very impressive. That's a bold.
Yeah.
That takes a lot.
Art of War.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I did see Art of War. Oh, that's a perfect card for this.
Did you see this this hot take here?
What's that?
There's flavor text foreshadowing just a rock.
Grok, me find rock. What rock do? It sit there. I've never read that.
Also, Just a Rock caused a ruckus in the community too. And I thought
What's Just a Rock?
it's an item.
It's just a rock?
That, you place one of their artifacts.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, your Philosopher's Stone is actually just a rock.
Oh, that's so good.
I know.
Their hand.
That's so funny.
It's one mana.
Yeah.
That's great.
Ordinary.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah.
Of course it's ordinary. It's just a rock.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. I think we're just gonna.
Justin's saying they projectile skip all allies on the starting site.
That's right.
Okay. Fair. Sorry. You can
What you
have.
get for not reading the rules, you know?
You can have my imp. I'm just gonna send a train your way.
A conga line.
Yeah, two
Dudes.
at your money, 3 at you, 1 at you. Move this guy up.
99 problems.
We're gonna play 2 of my 5 for Frontier Settlers here, and then we're going to play Shield Maidens here. Nearby allies take 1 less damage. Over to you.
Oh. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I play a thing.
Oh, and I sat this. Did I sit this guy down? I didn't play a site. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna draw. Here. You cool with that?
I only have 5 out.
Now my second.
So you should have.
Did you play one last time?
Uh-huh.
Did I play a site?
Judge.
I thought I played
I
this.
think I drew a side at some point.
I played this last time. And then I moved him up to swing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I played this guy over here.
Yeah, I don't think you played a side.
I didn't play a site. I get a free. I'm not used to playing this sorcerer.
The one that can just draw cards.
Yeah, so good. That's why we should follow the process. Start of the turn. Untap your avatar.
I always forget that. It's
When
so
I'm
exciting.
playing, when I'm not having as much fun, I do better about that.
Checks out.
Yeah.
I'm going to play here and smoke that guy.
Almost got shield maidened. Would have been a bamboozler.
I will pudge your imp.
You got it.
Let's
Something on the table is just -1 card for me for the rest of the game. It's not ideal.
let's bury the goons.
Oh, he's got removal card for card, he says.
And then I'm going to play Men of Ling here. Past you.
Minobling.
That was a better turn than the
Just a bit.
That's a better turn. Yeah. Untap my avatar.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to draw a card. What am I going to draw?
Just for an interesting rough strategy for this long game deck.
I know, right? It's not intentional. It's not supposed to work.
One
like
thing
this.
led to another. Cards were flying everywhere.
That's kind of annoying. There.
What?
The whole pudge, like,
Yeah.
shoot is
The
also
pudge sludge.
really annoying. I need stuff of yours to attack, I think.
Jeb. Oscar Mayer. Is it Jeb? Is there? Yeah, it's Jeb. It looks like there's like a something else in front of his name that I can't see on the screen. Anyway, Oscar Mayer sleep theme for everyone.
Okay, I'm gonna draw a sight. Start of the turn.
He's looking for threshold.
Okay.
Also, can we just pull up Pristine Paradise and admire it?
Yes, we can.
Marta Molina. Stunning work.
All right,
I would live here.
Frontier Settlers, reveal and play your topmost.
Uh-oh.
What does that give me? 6 money? I'll go ahead and make a guy.
Dudes for days.
Dudes for days. Dudes for days.
Man, it's a shame I put that Rain of Arrows or the Arrows card in my deck because this thing is out here, so it doesn't do anything. I didn't put it in my deck. What's it called? Rain of Arrows. He nailed it. Batting 100 today. Out of 1,000.
Okay, so Sorcerer's just got a boogie. That kind of shuts down anything that's scary about that. So we're just gonna move.
Yeah, that's an option.
And then we're gonna play a Giantess here.
Ooh.
And then we will pass to you. Asleep.
Does Giantess die to Pudge?
Die to Pudge.
Like if Pudge pulled Giantess in,
Yeah.
They would both die.
they both die. Okay,
Oh, is it an attack?
His thing?
no, strike.
It's
He's
a
a
strike,
five.
right? You didn't.
Pudge may fight it.
Okay, but she doesn't wake up during that one fight. It would be after that fight, right?
But like if I punched her with something, you would kill it. Like if I punched her with this, you still have your strength.
I don't think no. It's disabled. It's like a pirate ship without water. It doesn't punch back at all.
Really?
It's after it takes damage it wakes up.
That seems correct.
Until hurt. It doesn't like wake up swinging like my baby.
Deep cut. So it's asleep presently.
It's currently asleep doing nothing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you can.
I'm going to play a site here and I'm not going to trigger it.
Come on, man.
That way. I'm going to move this here, not do anything.
Mm.
And then
That seems like a grapple shot kind of situation you're trying to set up there. Just.
not a chance. Maybe. Does this apply to itself?
Yes. Why are you asking?
I don't know.
Well, that settles that.
Perhaps I do know. I just don't. I can't tell you. Unrevealed. I'll play a Midnight Rouge down there. Pass to you.
What are the new stealth rules? Just as it relates.
You can't hit it. Doesn't get hit by things like projectiles, and then when it goes to strike, you can't like intercept it or block it or whatever.
What about something that dealt damage to each unit in the area of effect?
Couldn't tell you.
I know you can't. I know.
Did you play a Midnight Rogue on Steven's site?
Oh, I
Oh
did.
yeah, you probably can't do that one. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Did stealth rules change?
Actually, stealth it makes sense. You can play them anywhere.
Yeah.
Let's change it right now.
Stealth walk.
That makes total sense. Just play it on your. You can put only on your opponent's side. Spies.
I like it.
JC coming in with a hot take there. Correct. Casual game. Okay, start of the turn. We need a spell.
I'd blame it on Dad Brain, but that ain't it.
An old-fashioned spell. I do need to know how an area of effect spell would play here. I'm having trouble.
Life's a game. Just got your Arthurian Legends confirmation email. Thanks. Hey, thanks for the order.
Jonathan, can you pull up the stealth rules?
Let's see. No. Oh, like on the internet? Yes, I can.
Yeah.
I can't pull up on the screen.
I was hoping you could actually find a physical rulebook somewhere.
Oh yeah, no, you just the latest rule book. They updated the rule book,
No, yeah, they did.
so it'll be on the news, and then click the little link,
Rules update.
and then find Command F stealth.
Command F stealth. We have like half of the rules channel for their Discord.
I know Justin should be answering this question right now, but he's not, and David should as well.
Stealth. Keyword ability.
Mm.
Minions with stealth cannot be targeted by spells or abilities from your opponents. They cannot be attacked, intercepted, or defended against.
Okay.
Projectiles cannot hit them.
Okay.
Stealth is tracked with a stealth token.
Is something a projectile? Does it have to say projectile?
It does. Yeah.
And so it would have to say projectile, or it would have to say target.
That's right.
Otherwise, it's on.
Otherwise, it's on. Yeah.
TLDR, I think an AoE would work.
You're done.
Yeah.
That's fine.
They lose stealth after they activate. Deal damage or attack.
I like the amount of joy this is creating for you. I don't have any stealth tokens.
I'm glad that
You just have to imagine it.
Your appreciation of my joy is one of the great things that we have.
David says, man, I'm literally answering it. How dare you, Steven?
1, 2,
Justin
3,
says he's
4,
driving
5,
home.
6. I'm getting called out, man. I got something to say. Okay, get ready for a hot play coming up. I'm going to draw a spell. Okay, love it. We're going to play a Cone of Flame. This direction.
My signature.
5, 3, 3, 3, 1, 1.
Oh, and it wakes up your giant.
Yeah, we swing it for 5.
Oh, someone knows how
Now,
to play.
I may actually end up over here because the shenanigans are just so limited. But then I can't threaten the death's door, but I know I got another cone coming up, so 5 there.
I'm not feeling so good about this.
There, hold on. This is important.
So.
We clear this card from the screen and then bring up Canadian Paradigm.
Canadian Paradigm. Sorcery is my first TC subscription. Thanks for shipping to the middle of the Canadian prairies. Hi to all. Always love checking out the stream
What's
with
up?
everyone.
It's great to have you here.
Happy to have you here.
Happy to have it.
So good.
Thank you for being a subscriber. None of this would be possible without everyone buying things from us.
All right, I've got no mana. You're at 9.
Yeah, I'm getting my tail kicked.
I just want to know if I should I go and sacrifice these guys to the Pudge Man for 1 damage.
Certainly.
All right, we'll do 1 there, and I'm going to move here and move here because I've got the power of the Shield Maiden to prevent your desert. But it's risky. But what are they doing over there anyway?
We got to get in on this action.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let's draw here. Let's draw here again. See what we're cooking. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Interesting. We're gonna pudge your foot soldier, of course.
Bad day for that foot soldier. Can you imagine? He did not sign up for that when he got drafted.
This is not going well.
Yeah.
Autumn Unicorn. Pass to you.
Okay.
What up, Tony?
Stand everything.
Yeah.
Is it the Tony?
The Tony. Tony the Tiger.
Popping in before your time travels. Back to the beginning.
Draw at the start of the turn here.
I didn't tell you, but Drew on the play caught up by watching the stream at 3 times speed.
Oh my God.
Really caught up.
I think Drew probably plays at 3 times speed.
I think Drew lives life at 3 times speed. Honestly, I'm just a random comment.
He'll be at Essen then, won't he?
I don't know if you,
I don't know
if you're out there, Drew. You beat SM. I'm 99.999% sure he'll get sorcery card. Yeah. So I will actually. I'll come back later and tell you whether or not he lives life at 3 times speed.
Let's draw a card.
He seems like the kind of guy. He's got a lot of moxie, you know.
Mm-hmm. 3 times the amount of moxie, some would say.
3 times the moxie. You wouldn't pitch a unicorn for a giantess to just lose it, would you? No.
Depends.
That's a losing play.
It
We can't go card for card.
is. You can just sit there and punch my hand.
Drew will not be Essen.
I do-
will be a sorcerer god.
I do want to do that.
Excellent. Yeah, it'd be nice to officially meet. Come close a few times. There's a couple of events going on in Texas, but with the babies and stuff, it's just such a weird time frame.
Okay, so this is yours as well. Yeah. I get it. Okay, so we could play it easy. What do you 5?
Wait.
It's not great for you, dude.
Yeah. Lobby bar.
All right, let's get a little. We'll get a little greedy.
Everyone just evacuated that Pudge Lane.
You've I've made a lot of mistakes, but also multiple times in this game you've traded up cards.
I think it's what we're supposed to be doing.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the idea.
How many cards you got? One over there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to swing for 5 here. See if you like it.
I'm
or
going
not.
to take it.
Okay.
One of my favorite moments playing games against Steven is when he's in like a dominant position. He still is like
You got to play smart. You don't want to lose.
particular and nervous as any other time.
You don't want to lose.
There's a reason, Zach, and that's because when you're in a losing position is when you're the most
he's
dangerous.
he's
I've made that
crazy.
mistake 100 times.
He's like a luchador.
It's like, I got him on the ropes.
PTSD. It's like there's no way I can lose this game. It's like I need to look at every possibility. I love that brand, by the way.
Yeah.
The personal brand.
Yeah, I've
You
been
can't
burned
count me
before.
out. Yeah.
See, I've got a really I've got a fascinating thing here. You trade there, and then we go
Simon,
1-1.
who do viewers want to win and why?
Wow, look at him. He's a social hype man.
That's a deep cut question.
Mhm.
The answers could be quite personal. Hi, Simon.
Okay, I'm gonna
And
play.
Justin, see you in the chat. Hey, man.
I'm playing it cool. Playing it cool. Get your
You see
game.
this from
Get your game.
Drew, I just want you to know that he's a hugger because you've been asking about that.
I have.
Particularly about Drew. No, I'm just kidding.
I grew up in a hugging family, and I would not consider myself a hugger. So I don't know. Post pandemic, I just got more comfortable being like, "Are you a hugger?"
Yeah.
And if they say no, it's like, "Cool, we will never hug again." If they say yes, it's like, "Oh, give me a hug. This is for you."
Maybe just go with a high five instead.
Simon's saying the more personal it is, the better. Allerdale says, "I want us viewers to win by watching the game play out." Simon saying I'm a hugger, but I'm lying. What up, Zach? Also, I'm calling people by their real names, not their screen names. In case you're wondering, it's like Justin
This is
earlier.
Skeleton Crew right here.
Yeah,
Let's do scarabs there, and then
smart. See, I can't play a desert to kill him. Like,
Yeah,
big
They're safer
punt
there.
from earlier.
They're safer. They're a little safer there.
Woo!
And then I'm gonna, because this has got to be the case. I'm gonna do a swing here.
You're the worst. Take one.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta do it again, yeah.
A swing here.
Go to one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would have to block the shield lanes.
I would have to.
But we're not.
There's also any number of cards you could just get me with.
Yeah, there's some good options. And then I'll do. Yeah, Overgreen's here.
Oh God. Mine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I'm pessimistic about this one. That is good. Is it enough? All right. Let me. I guess I have Death's Door. I have 2 turns,
You got 2 turns.
and then you still got to get to my main squeeze.
Yeah. Did you talk to old Z-Storm about Viscerai?
I haven't.
Z-Storm, is he bounced off Fab as well at this point?
I have not engaged with him on Fab in a long time.
But like, it's not. That's the thing. Most of us, we kind of move from game to game. You know, that's the dirty little secret of TCG players.
Dirty.
Aside from, well, even Magic players, I feel like kind of bounce around. They hate Magic and Wizards, and then they
Darker.
play it. That's my experience so far.
The scarabs are kind of a problem. Truth be told.
Yeah. They take care of that unicorn just in case you need it. In case you want to get fancy with it. They also do 1 to put you at death's door, which is kind of a nice.
Oh, I'm going to death's door. Ain't no
We're already
stopping
there.
that, boy.
I started there.
Well, it's not going to get better. So why don't we just do it? You know?
Yeah.
Oh, this is so bad.
There seems like there's a glimmer of hope there for a second.
I'm going to grapple shot.
Okay, see, that's how you do it.
I'm going to take that thing out.
Yeah.
To here. I've needed 8 resources both of the past 2 turns. And I just didn't.
That's why I played all my lands.
Then.
Now, cover new projectile rules means you have to hit this, right? If you shoot? Or can you skip a non-ally?
I don't think I can skip a non-ally.
I don't think you can either.
I'm going to attack here.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Because Pudge is a fight effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I swing Scarabs in... No, because then you can still... Well, you would die Pudge here, you'd die Pudge here. You'd die Pudge here. But you're already going to die Pudge. You're probably going to go Giantess, right? No, because it doesn't matter. 5 doesn't matter. It's just mobility at this point. Well, that's fascinating, isn't it?
What up, Donald? Saying just saw my sorcery sub process, joining late to go rewind back to the beginning. Thank you for being a subscriber.
I could also leave Foot Soldiers in, swing Goons up, and just trade Goons for Unicorn. And then we got Pudge Butcher sitting there. And then he takes Shield Maidens, fine. And then there's Pudge. And there's Pudge. And then we could Goon Scarab to get him off the board if we wanted. We could try to find a way to get Giantess over there. Or if we sacrifice Scarabs, there's no, you're like, it doesn't matter. I'm going to lose this game. Why do you care? I'm going to lose.
Jonathan made a good point. You care because there's moments in the games just like this where I actually end up winning.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, to me, it's like you just either lose a Foot Soldier or you can bring the Scarabs in. If you do, I'll kill the Foot Soldier anyway, and then I can kind of clean up the board quite a bit, actually. Because I could Pudge the Giant if I wanted to, or the Goons, either one. And then I've at least cleared everything but 1 unit of the board.
Mm-hmm.
I guess 2.
I'm thinking about what's my end game here. Well, I kind of know it. Then the Unicorn does that, and then we go in. He's immobile. He can't block for other things, right? Like if Unicorn and Pudge are here, he can't defend.
I don't think so.
Immobile's like really bad, I think.
Yeah. I honestly could not tell you what that word does. I just know he sits on a site and he taps and does his thing, and then that's all I ever use him for. It's not what?
A reading.
I like the pronouncement. Mr. Bully.
Where is it?
It's like entering a
Give
room
me
at
my
like an
monocle.
old school party, you know?
Well,
Mr. and Miss Bully.
there it is. Okay.
I need that Unicorn dead.
This card cannot move itself and cannot use the move and attack, intercept, or defend ability.
Can't use the defend. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna help you clean. Unicorn and Foot Soldier, they're gonna combine to do 4 and 4.
That's not what I expected. Pudge will take this out.
You got it.
And then I'll pass to you.
Okay.
I'm just thinking about
I'm bringing it up. I know what it is.
Gotta spread that pudgy love across the realm. Yeah. Well, Pudge for everyone.
You're a father now, Zach.
All right, we're gonna play a site here. We're gonna do 1 here.
Yep.
Swing in with the Scarabs for 4.
Yep.
Move the Giantess over.
Are you punching?
No. Oh yeah. Death's Door, yeah.
I'll take it 1 extra turn.
then we'll do boss troll and cave troll is here.
I have so many cards.
I just been playing, man.
Over to me?
Yeah. Who put these in here?
I've just got 3 5-cost cards in my hand. I've got 7 resources. Oh my god, and I draw another 3.
Uh-oh.
It's okay, it's okay.
Oh, notably, Justin is now watching TV and typing from the phone. So he's joining the ranks of our best viewers.
Romy Monster.
Okay,
Over to you.
cool.
You got anything to get me?
No, not yet. Let's draw here. No, that'll do it. Got it.
I have 2 open resources, so watch out.
Let's go here, here, and here. That's it.
Is that going to ready or do anything?
Yeah, I can move here.
All right.
It's Carnival.
All right, first thing, let's hit you for 4. Let's
You
get on
got
the board. Heck yeah. I mean, let's go Palaberry Bats and a Midnight Rogue. And over to you.
Oh, wow. Whoa, man.
We got blockers.
Whoa, man. Draw a spell. Oh, cool.
I'm getting dunked on.
I want to play Divine Healing. Go up to 20.
Oh, I drew a card. Shouldn't do any.
And then I'm just going to move an explosion there.
Good game, good game.
Good game, good game, good game.
Man,
good game, good game.
the rust. As soon as you played that desert on the Scarabs, I was like, oh yeah,
I'm in
that
danger.
sucks. What have I done? Sorcery's great. Have
Still
you?
great.
I can still play it. See, this is why you don't open beta.
Yeah.
You want to be able to do this for the next 4 years, right?
Yeah.
I want
But-
you to be able to allow me to do it for the next 4.
But what deck am I going to take to the multiplayer game? At
Just
Sorcery
borrow
Con?
cards from Zach.
That's Steven's strategy. It's been working for years.
All right.
You really can though. You want me to unsleeve these for you? We can do your cards.
Yeah, sure.
I'll
Let's
just
do
do
it.
that while we're here and chatting and
Wrap it up.
clean it up. So, how do you feel about sorcery now after having a child?
I feel great about it.
Once a year, it's even better. That's
No,
what I
like
think.
it's actually way more special than a lot of people realize. I'll say that.
You could think it's just another card game.
Even you could think that it's like a really well done card game with unique art.
Yeah.
You could think all of those things. What I think is missing, what a lot of people probably don't truly appreciate, is how different the culture is. Culture's set a lot of times by the publisher, and the player base doesn't have to follow certain things like deck sizes and stuff. But what they say and how they do things is a statement about the culture that the players should expect to encounter and replicate. And so the culture of this game is the kind of thing that I think most TCG players want from their favorite TCG, but are often fighting against, which is the grinders and the sweaty competitive stuff that they have to engage in to play the game at all. And so you've got that, and you don't realize how everything that's happening in this game is reinforcing the anti-culture of the standard. Just the way that the cards are designed, the way that the text is written, the way that the traditional art is hitting on the table, the way that the game plays.
I totally agree with
It's
that.
all reinforcing something that you don't fully appreciate until you get into it, and then you're like, I'm having a great time with this. And then you add on the layer of nostalgia that any early TCG players in like the 90s, 2000s A lot of this was like the norm, and then it got really standardized.
I do think it feels old, but it's batting at it's fighting at a higher weight class than a lot of those old games were.
Yeah, definitely.
And
it's not just
I've heard a lot of people saying that, like at SorceryCon, this was really common. It's like, I've never had a TCG experience like this. And the thing they're describing is the experience I had when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And that's really cool. Where people that are just now getting into card games there's just a unique thing going on here that reminds me so much of what it was like to play these games in the late 90s, early 2000s. So that's really, that means a lot to me as a human, just seeing people experience that same excitement and like obsession in the healthiest way. I can use that word.
And
not saying it's completely healthy, but the healthiest way.
The system does a lot of that, right? With the chunkiness of it and with the physicality and presence and actually movement of it. But also ever since we were able to like see all the winning deck lists and live stream all the competitive decks and see all of the cards before they're released and all of that took away a lot of the magic of the early days, straight up. And it's not that you can take that stuff away, but what Eric's Curiosity can try to do is design and reveal and format things in such a way that you're kind of forced to not have the game solved so soon. Mm-hmm. And that's really what we were after. I mean, it's just the fact that the possibilities seem really open.
Yeah.
That's a sealed deck that I have never seen and will never see again. And that's beautiful. Yeah. Absolutely beautiful.
And there's no incentives to solve it.
Mm-hmm. That's a double Cone of Flame King of the Realm deck.
Cone, man.
What? It's like, I'll never see that again. Yeah. Not ever.
Did you have King of the Realm, perchance?
Yeah, it was 2 cards away. Oh. Yeah.
Can you name me the stack of sites?
Yes, sir.
Right there.
Well, thanks y'all for being here. Like I said, Wednesday noon next week begins the new schedule of the live stream. So Wednesday at noon, catch us there. We will not be here Monday at 1. We'll be Wednesday at noon. And we'll be changing up the format a little bit. We're just going to keep exploring the live stream. Actually, I think it's fair to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jonathan, but Jonathan has taken a more leading role in the content side of things, which is wonderful.
This is correct.
But the second part of that is we have unshackled ourselves from needing the live stream to be popular at all.
That's right.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's not like that.
It's not an acquisition mechanism. It's really a deep funnel thing that we can do.
Turns out YouTube's algorithms aren't exactly excited to show a 4-hour live stream that has ads disabled.
That's right.
To basically anyone.
So we've got ideas to solve that problem, the acquisition thing. But then meantime, it's like, well, do you want to just stop live stream? And it's like, nah, actually, we like it. We don't justify it.
Yeah.
We don't need to justify it on a dollars and cents.
This is not what you would call a data-driven decision.
We like it.
Well, it's like the heart of things. We talked about this, and we don't know exactly how this is going to play itself out. But like, you can't have the news stories about Simone Biles without someone watching a 4-hour gymnast stream.
That's right.
Like, it has to come from somewhere. And I think a lot of the problem, maybe we'll see, is that people
your theory on the problem
making this stuff that gets the content and stopping there, and not having this like deep well where it springs from that's then formed into the content that needs to be. But why not invite people along? Hanging out with people on chat, playing games is the core of it.
Talking about fatherhood. See, and that's that whole reward closer inspection thing. It's like, as you get more into something, it should get better.
Yeah.
You should be able to discover, oh man, and there's this live stream too, and there's this Discord channel, and these emails, and then I'm gonna go visit their store, and it should like be better and better and better every time, rather than just, oh yeah, there's a news show on my feed, and that happens every week. The end. I'll go buy some boxes. But please do that. We'll keep in business doing that, and we'll keep playing games, having a good time. What is all this? Just cards?
Those are cards that I opened. Those are your cards.
Ugh, there's some stinkers in there. Thank y'all for being here so very much. We love you. Say hello to your families, extended relative or friend.
Because surely they know who we are.
We'll catch you on the next one. We'll see you Wednesday.